I'm almost here. Hi. Hello. I am just slightly, ever so slightly, ever so slightly falling behind. But it's fine. It's fine. We're here. We're almost here. I'm here. Hi, Douglas. Hi, Talan. You bought Easter eggs. You bought Easter eggs. I've had some Easter sweets. For awful. From Marks and Spencer's. So first one was a dinosaur. But the food colouring in it really just like messed out up with the back of my throat. And like caused it to swell and stuff. I'm like, okay, so that's bad. I bet my mother got a hippo one. I'm like, I don't get more from M&S. Marks and Spencer's. And it was a hippo, but it was like super realistic hippo, like ultra realistic. I felt really bad trying to eat it. It's like, no! Why did they make it out? Also, the chocolate just tasted awful. Also, it had more food colouring in it. I bought an Easter egg. I can't afford Easter egg. Since I know Kunda doesn't know it's Easter, then leave me with doing all the holiday specials, digging everyone. Dino, hippo, what are you on about? Those animals? I don't even... Dinosaurs laid eggs. I think. Yeah, dinosaurs laid eggs. But then, so instead I've had some hotel chocolates. Dino, hippo, what are you talking about? Half of those animals don't even lay eggs. No, dinosaurs lay eggs. A hippo is one animal. Dinosaurs is like thousands upon thousands of animals. Hello, Bob. Thanks for the big love. Hello, Blair Bobbies. Ow. Hi. K-Trax. Hi, Chaplin. Oh my gosh, so many people. So many people. Yeah, hotel chocolate. I'll show you what I mean by hotel chocolate. It's like my first time having hotel chocolate stuff. Well, maybe not for first time. Yeah, hotel chocolate. Hotel chocolate. And it's really cute stuff. Look, it's a little sheep. A little leggy egg. And that was a rabbit, but it's already half eaten. It's okay. I don't. It's literally just okay. It's not bad. It's better than the M&S chocolate, but not worth the price, not worth the hype. And it's like the chocolate's so thin. It's like they figured out exactly how thin they can make the chocolate without, and it still keep its shape and like stuff. It's like super, super thin. You barely get anything. Oh, didn't Cupcake Turtle get him an Easter egg? Yeah, he can have one of them. We don't have any Easter eggs. We don't have any eggs. I'm sorry. Sheepy treat. Sheepy treat. Yeah. Also, I was building these last night after the stream. The stream yesterday was too long. It took a lot out of me. I was feeling so awful I couldn't actually sleep. So we'll probably not do as many long streams next week. But yeah, I made one of these things. He's like, look, this little dude. Look, it's like full. It's got karate chop action on this thing. Karate chop action. And it can go do, 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 do. And it's like, oh, flame for. And it goes, oh, oh. And oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, it opens up. Be careful with that though, because it breaks it. And look, there's a little man inside. And I gave him a little helmet with a visor up, and he's like, watch out there, watch that out there. He's like looking over that side, like, that looks dangerous. Whatever's over that direction, looks very dangerous. Very dangerous. Oh look, Black Templar symbol. And this, if you don't really know, I broke that little bit off it, so I've very carefully glued it together and it works. I just got another Black Templar symbol that I had to like bend it around over here. Well, you're kind of egg-shaped and coloured apart. I'm not egg-coloured. You're egg-coloured. Yeah, Black Templar symbol. I had to bend this using brute force and heavy bolt on its side. Yeah. Oh, I do know Captain Agaman or whatever his name is. Do you know from, he's dead now. But from Space Marine 2. From Space Marine 2. Captain Agaman. The guy who's like, I can spare 3 men. And you're one of them. Yeah, this is the same model, except I replaced this head with a Reaver Captain head. It's like, oh, he's not wearing his full helmet. Well, guess what? Helmet here. This is a model that it looks really cool, but it's so hard to convert because of the way everything is. Oh, it's so hard to like kit bash or do anything with it because of how each piece is like. For instance, you can see just a tiny little crack there in the shoulder pad, because part of the shoulder pad's attached to the main body, part of the shoulder pad's attached to the arm. Then over here you've got the leg, so it's like half of the leg is by itself, half of the leg's attached to the front of the body, part of it's attached to the back of the body, then same over here. And it's like, oh, it's not an easy convert one. If I done the back, it's like the helmet comes in 2 pieces, but one piece is attached to a backpack, one piece is attached to the body. Then part of the cape is by itself, part of the cape is attached to a backpack. And it's like, but so I just replaced the things that were easier. I replaced this hand, so he's not pointing. Where's his hand? I can show you if a hand are cut off. I think. I don't know where it's gone. It's gone somewhere. Oh, yeah, if that's meant to be his head, that's Agaman's head. A Scottish man. None of those animals are no, they're chocolate. Some hotels, I think. I think that's how it works. I'm not sure how hotel chocolate works actually. Like, are they animals? Are they not animals? Well, he had a hand and it was pointing, and I cut it off and I replaced it with a hand that's not pointing. Instead, it's got what looks like a giant astropath skull. My happiness is infectious, but I'm not even happy. I'm super angry. I'm super angry. Angry. Oh, I don't have an angry emote on this one. Oh, sad. I could be like this. I could be like crying. I could be crying. Is a hand in here? Oh gosh, don't knock that over. Hand. Well, there was a hand somewhere. And I lost it. I lost the hand that I cut off. Well, I wasn't planning to keep it for anything anyway. Oh, what's this bit? Oh, yeah, I don't remember what that bit's for. But, yeah. I thought he's really scary. Now, look at that servo skull. Last time Kundra was happy. 12 tons of Kit Kats. No, that was a chocolate channeler. If chocolate channeler did that. Also, if anyone's been turned into chocolate over Easter, definitely for chocolate channeler. Nothing to do with cupcakes. Definitely. Definitely. But yeah. I like all the little, you know, things. It's like, these guys are meant to be super stealthy, but it's like, why is that just... Could you imagine if this guy's hidden behind a bush? I've heard just people are looking at a bush. It's like, why is there an antenna just sticking out of that bush? Like, if there's just an antenna sticking up out of it. Like, you have no idea where I am. I've got my special camo cloak on. I've got chameleon things. I produce no sound thanks to my special armor. There's no heat signature. And just big old antenna. People in 40k universe don't have glasses. Actually, is there a single model with glasses other than orcs with goggles? So I don't think there is. Also, I need to paint more. I need to do more painting. I keep wanting to and just keep never getting around to it. It's sad. Da 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 da. I've also got... Let me just move some stuff out of the way. Yeah, I was going to give this guy an autocannon, sorry. But I already had one with an autocannon. I decided, you know what? We'll give him a flamethrower. Flamethrower gets a lot of attacks anyway. And if I don't remember, he's got these dual stubbers. He's got to be good at getting rid of infantry already. And a heavy bolter. I thought, nah, we'll just keep the heavy flamer anyway. He's also got a rocket launcher. Like, my goodness, this guy is stealthy. Look how many guns for a stealthy fella this has. I'm not evil. I'm finishing up a model that's a third-party Dark Angel, but I'm painting a Dark Angel, and then I'm painting a Mandalorian. A Mandalorian! From Star Wars! I have a Dark Angel here. Well, I mean... It was originally, the base of it was a Dark Angel model, but I'm using it as a Judiciar. So, Black Templar sword, Black Templar shoulder pads. I was trying to that's very hard to, you know, trim down smoothly. I'm hoping once it's painted it'll look better. Where if it ever gets paid. I need to do more painting. I need to do more painting streams because I don't have a lot of time off stream to do a lot of the painting and stuff. So no complaining if I do more. Okay, if I do more painting streams, you can't complain about the amount of hand cams. And if I do, and if you do complain about it, I decide to do less hand cams. You can't complain about the lack of painting I've done. I'm a very ill person. It's hard to get stuff done. Oh. We can and we will. No! You just want to make me feel bad about myself. You're so mean. Why? Why would we complain about hand cams? I'd complain about how much you read.
Why would he complain about hand cams? I'd complain about how much you read.
I've been reading. I need to read more. But you can't have a monocle. You can't have a monocle. I don't have a... Oh, I think for our models with monocles, actually. For our... Oh, it's a hi, Greg Johnson. For our models... No, sad cupcon with icing tears. Yeah. Wait, where's my magazine? We're reading. Oh, magazines. Oh, I felt so hard. I've had this magazine for ages, and I finally got some of these so that, you know, we can make a good war boss with them. But I don't know when we're gonna do that. I want to do it on stream. No idea when we're gonna do it. I wanted to get some painting done last night, actually, but because I had a really bad headache and painting, you know.
Why don't we ever read about the Necron's mother?
Because unfortunately, there's been no Necrons here. That's a lot of orcs. It's not many orcs, only 11 orcs, 2 squigs. Because the Combat Patrol never had any Necrons in. We did read a little bit about Necrons with the Indomitus Crusade thing, but people weren't interested in reading about that book. So, we have a bunch of magazines here. You know what? Let's go with Creed. That was the first one to read. We've got Lord Castellan Creed. Now, I grew up with Urska. What's her name? Urska Creed, I think his name is. And she's Ursula Creed. So it's her father who I grew up with. Like, I didn't grow up with him, but didn't like him being like the main guardsman in charge. Now it's Lord Solar. Yeah. She's pretty weird, honestly. I don't really know much about her. I don't think this is going to tell me much either. It's just how to build it, how to paint it. Oh gosh, I need to correct the thing here. Yeah, unfortunately, because we had the times changing, it's now just a lot brighter. You know what? You know what? I'll fix this the other way. If I click this button, look away if it's epileptic. But there we go. Ah, oh, darn it. It's too dark now. You want it to go that dark. Ah, still way too dark. No. Okay, if I do this, and then it brightens itself. Okay, apply. Okay, now is this too bright still? Yeah, it's too bright still. Okay, if I move this away, turn that light on. Maybe I do this. Ah, there we go. That's better. That's good. That's good. Sorry. I've been used to how to set it up for during the winter, where at this time of day, usually it's pretty dark. But with the clocks moving and it going into summertime, it's now pretty light at this time. There's a lot of light coming in through the window. And that natural light is very, very bright compared to my other lights around here. Kitty. I might need to make a squad of them commandos. I love commandos. I've always wanted proper commandos. I also want to get the new tank bustery stuff, but we'll do that eventually. Eventually, one day, we'll get around to them. Oh, so this is about how to paint them. They're going quite a lot of detail about how to paint her. Ooh. Yeah, really, really high detail stuff. Oh, here we go. Oh, see, that's the guy. That's the guy who I grew up with. And he came with like a command squad and stuff. But here we go. Lord Castellan Ursula Creed. Ursula Creed is the Lord Castellan of Cadia, and her sheer grit and determination truly embodies the Cadian spirit. Almost as much as its rallying cry of Cadia stands. Just let me just move this up. This isn't the way. Yeah, here we go. Here's her model. I will make that, I don't know, one day. We'll convert it into something. Much like her father before her, fought lost in the fall of Cadia, she is an exemplary general tactician, and her victorious and her victories in the name of the Imperium are many. I fought lost in the fall of Cadia. Her father is fought lost in the fall of Cadia. She isn't fought lost in the fall of Cadia. Her father is. But there's rumours he might still be alive, like doing something for the Inquisition. in the long war against chaos. Her lofty duties as Lord Castellan do nothing to dissuade her from taking to the field of battle, should the hour prove especially dire. Flanked by elite Casvican bodyguards, she carries a power sword, her dueling pistols, duty and vengeance, and the weight of expectations upon her soldiers, in the form of her lost father's old greatcoat. Yeah, that's her father's greatcoat. That's a long-lasting greatcoat. I mean, you can't get greatcoats nowadays that last more than a couple of decades. That one's been around for like 500 years. The greatcoat. Creed inherited the greatcoat from her father, not just the burden of command, but his iconic greatcoat. The stench of Cadia's final hours is seeped into the fabric. Yeah, apparently, her father was thought dead and is, lost, and his greatcoat along with him. But one day, like, she went to her quarters and found like a gift package, on her, like, in her quarters, and inside it was a greatcoat and like a hint that her father might still be alive. Power sword. I think that's it. I read that somewhere. Should the situation demand her intervention, it's not unheard of to see Creed leading the charge of a power sword in hand. I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe like the Lord Commander of the Creed, one of the most important commanders in the Imperium, who's just a normal human, shouldn't be on the front line fighting the power sword. Like, imagine just walking up to a Baden and be like, "Hi, I'm gonna poke you with my stick," and then a Baden just goes pat and splats her. She'd be dead. And there was no chance. Ursula Creed keeps her paired Archeo pistols close at hand, ready to use against the enemies of the Imperium. Where are her pistols? Oh, there's both of her pistols. Oh my god, she's got that cowboy. She's like a cowboy thing. Can we have a mod? Is there like an option on the model to be able to use both of her pistols at once? Like, I want her to have the pistols in hand, not some silly sword. Oh, there isn't. Oh. Well, how good is her stats, though? That's what I want to know. Like, does it show stats on this page? She is a tyrant of war, a tactical despot, and a dangerous officer to wager with. I thank the Emperor for Lord Castellan. Every day I draw breath. Colonel Alander Cadian CCX1. Cupcon, you'll never be a Lord Commander with that attitude. I would be. Okay, here we go. Here's the stats. I don't know if this is actually true for current stats. The pistols get 4 attacks, a strength 5, AP -2, damage 1. Be cool if it's damage 2. And a power weapon, yeah, is literally just a very basic power weapon stat. She's not very good in melee or shooting. She does hits and fight and freeze, which is pretty okay, but yeah, most commanders would absolutely destroy her. Like, not only in just their attack status, but like the weapon skill 2+.
Is there any high-ranking character that isn't a Nepo baby? There is no one. Space Marines don't count.
Yes, there is. To some extent, it depends on how much you want to go into Nepo babyism. Any commissar technically is going to be a Nepo baby because they're raised by the commissariat. But a lot of them weren't necessarily born like especially wealthy or lucky or whatever. I mean, they were lucky enough to be able to be taken in by the commissariat and the, what's it called? Scholarium. But not every single person from there is born of wealth or to an officer. Some of them are literally just orphans that, did particularly well and, were given a chance to move on in life. And similarly, other stuff like that. So people like, what's his name? So hi, that guy over there, how you doing? And hi, Night Parade. If Tyson has her dad in his museum, does that mean he dropped off the Koto? It might have been. But what's his name? There's like a bunch of... You got Commissar Gaunt. I can't remember if he was born of noble birth. You've also got Caiaphas Cain, something like that. I don't know if he was born a noble, but either way, both of them are commissars, obviously. Yavik as well, but he was probably born of nobility. You've also got, what's the name? Basically, most of the commissars. Sisters of Battle, do they count? A lot of the Sisters of Battle aren't Nepo babies. I mean, technically they are by the fact that they are taken in by the sisters. But Creed herself is not technically a Nepo baby. Because, as far as I'm aware, she didn't get command because of her father's position. Instead, she earned it through her own honours and glory in battlefields. Or at least that's what I read. Lord Solar definitely is a Nepo baby. But it's very hard to get anywhere in the Imperium if you're not, like, to get into that sort of position of power without, you know, first having advantages. Because effectively, to rise through the ranks will take you hundreds of years. And it is possible to rise through the ranks, but most people will die before they reach that position. And so as a result, you generally have, like, multiple generations of people, starting from the lowest of the low, and then with each generation, they work their way up to the top, until eventually you've got somebody at the very top of a field. And as a result, they're Nepo baby. Sometimes you will find like certain rogue traders and inquisitors and stuff will be born relatively low down. It takes them hundreds of years to work their way up, but they've been alive that long. You got Carl, I guess he's not a Nepo baby. For Emperor himself, I don't think he was born to nobility back in the Mesopotamia. We got any long? Yeah, the Commissar Graves is an older character, but I don't know her lore. Who's a Talon Commissar? That's Abraham Gaunt. I think he wasn't originally from nobility. Like most commissars, he's not from Talon. Wait, no, you got two. You got two types of them. I can't remember. Or is she too new? I think Graves is actually an older character. Tanith, not Talon. Yeah, Tanith, sorry. I mixed them up. Tanith first. Wait, does Talon have a commissar? I know that there was an old Talon commander. You've also got the not Foist and Firstborn. They're obviously Nepo babies. For Valhallans, they had a commander too. Each of the major things. Oh, wait. I know somebody who isn't. Ironhand Strachan. He's been relegated to Legends, but if he ever comes back, Ironhand Strachan is not a Nepo baby as far as I'm aware. Same with Sly Marble, but Sly Marble's not really a commander. Strachan is a commander. He's my favourite guardsman, Strachan. I think Gaunt was another apprentice under his father originally. Yeah. What Primarchs aren't Nepo babies? Curse. Angron. I mean, technically all of the Primarchs are Nepo babies, if I'm entirely honest with you. Like, none of them would be as powerful as they are if the Emperor didn't, you know, find them and take them back again. Like, imagine if Angron fully fell to Khorne before the Emperor arrived. Do you think he would have been anywhere near as dangerous as he is now? No. Yeah. I think there are definitely characters that aren't. But they are less than the characters that are. Technically, Creed wasn't a Nepo baby as far as... I know he would have been. He would have been a noble of Cadia. Originally, actually. Macarian was, again, he was a noble. And he was probably the greatest commander that the Imperium has ever had, outside of the Emperor and the Primarchs. And even then, honestly, he might even be better than most of them, considering Makarian managed to lead one of the greatest crusades the Imperium ever had with nowhere near as much influence as anybody else. So I need a drink. I'm sorry, my throat's crackling. Yeah. Makarian managed to lead one of the greatest crusades the Imperium ever had without the resources and support that Guilliman had, without the resources and support that the Emperor had. His crusade itself, his crusade force, was honestly quite small compared to a lot of other much bigger crusades. But the impact, the victories he had, it was basically the Alexander the Great of the Imperium. Oh, Abaddon was technically a Nepo baby as Horus used to promote Astartes that closely resembled him to his 5-member advisor council. Yeah. It doesn't look like there's any notable Talon commissars, but I think that might be because of the organization. Not every single regiment has a notable commissar. For Feustrum Firstborn, not for Feustrum Firstborn. Well, for Feustrum Firstborn don't have a commissar, they just had a commander. Talon, I think, also has a cool command. Give me a moment. I think I might have the old Astra Militarum Codex. Yeah. Oh, never mind. I don't have the old codex still. Oh yeah, the Valhallans don't. Yeah, the Valhallans have Caiaphas Cain, but Caiaphas Cain has led multiple different regiments, or at least been with multiple different regiments. He's always had a Valhallan with him. But like he's been with Space Marines without any Valhallan, well, other than this one guy. Because he gets passed around a lot. There's a Talon Commissar and the Cain books, but they dislike each other, yeah. In terms of like actual commanders that have rules. So generally they're the most notable of them. Or used to have rules anyway. Each of the major regiments had at least one character. So you had this dude. You had, I think the Valhallan one was a tank commander. No, he wasn't. He was a really aggressive dude. He acts similar to a commissar, but he wasn't one. You know what? Can I find the old, like, 5th edition Guardsman Codex here? 5th edition Imperial Guard Codex. Or is it 4th edition? I think it's 5th edition. I think it's 5th edition I definitely had. Yeah, 5th edition. I'll show you what he looks. Lord Solar Macarius. Here we go. Here we go. Lord, so you got various characters and stuff. This is one of the greatest commanders that was ever known. He never had rules. I actually think Fartroad might have given him rules. But yeah, you got loads of cool stuff. Loads of cool stuff. There's Boisstring Commander, I think. So that's just generic company command squad, regimental advisors, commissars, primaris psychers, tech priest engine seers, ministratum priests, platoon command squads. Ooh, catechins. But if we keep scrolling down, we'll eventually find something cool. Rough Riders, Sentinels, Stormtroopers, Psychers, Lehman Ross Battle Tank. Yeah. Hellhound. The Bane Wolf. Oh. Look at these things. The Devil Dog's my favourite one of them. So I'm getting distracted. Manticore rocket launchers, Death Strike missiles, Valkyrie, Lord Castellan, Night Pass. Oh yeah, he's used to be a tank commander for Arcadia. Sergeant Braystone, Iron Hand Strike and Catechin commander. Fry Marble for Catechin. Oh yeah, he had going to be Sergeant Harker for Catechin. Commissar Yarick, obviously. But here we go. He is a Talon commander. Of a 3rd Desert Tigers, well, normally he carries the responsibility of a company commander and entrusts such duties to fellow subordinates. Yeah, so this is a Talon commander. Alram leads his warriors in a well-planned stalking his prey. Natural talent for command. Yeah, so this is the old guy. He never had a model as far as I'm aware. He always had to just like play a model to proxy as him. Arabian Night looking king, bro. Look at him. Yeah. I think he might be a bit inspired by the likes of Saladin or whatever. He's a gifted linguist, he's very charismatic, he's intelligent. He instills respect and confidence not only in the native Talons, but any of the Imperial Guard regiments allied with the Desert Tigers. Yeah! Also, the new guardsmen that are coming out could definitely be kit bashed into Talon models. But they got Commander Cheknov. He is the Valhallan one, I believe. Yeah, for Valhallan. He acts more like a commissar. He's not a commissar, but like he's based on, do you know, the World War One Russian wave tactics? Send him the next raid. An army that includes him may purchase a special rule for its conscript squads, as described in the army list. A unit with this special rule can at the start of a player's turn be removed from play as casualties if a controlling player wishes to counting it as destroyed. Any unit with this special rule that is removed from play may be brought back into play at the beginning of the controller player's next turn. The new unit moves onto the board with a player's board edge. Yeah, and it's treated the same. So yeah, he just throws, "Hi, Seradwin." No! What about Schaefer for Last Chance's commander? Yeah, he did have a model. He did have a model, and he also had a bunch of Last Chancer models. From some of the early short stories that were quite questionable. And honestly, the models themselves are quite questionable, especially some of a bit racist caricaturists. But... Ow. Oh, he had one model. I never knew he had a model. I've never seen the model. I just don't remember it. Then he got Mogul. Oh, yeah. The leader of the Attilian Rough Riders. Yeah, he took a command of him. Yeah, you can see who he's based on, can't you? Vicious temperament. He's basically like, in personality, he's very inspired by, you know, Genghis Khan. A lot less than Jagatai Khan. Then you got Narc Dead Dog. We still got Narc Dead Dog around. Yeah. Oh wait, where's the First and Firstborn character? I swear he had one, or was he only in the older books? Yeah, I absolutely loved this dude though, because he was Strength 6, Toughness 4, and he was Initiative 3. This meant that he was as strong as a guardsman. Oh yeah, he also had Weapon Skill 5, which means he hits on 2s as a base.
The orcs have left me no choice but to use my melter bomb.
Yeah. I don't think Shafir had rules in this book. He might have. I think there's more rules further down. I got war gear and stuff, regimental colours. Oh my gosh, look how ancient that is. I think with this is when they got rid of the last chances. Oh, First and Firstborns. Talon, Desert Raiders, Mardian, Iron Guard. I swear the Mardians also had a character. Maybe it just wasn't in this book. Or maybe they were just from White Dwarf. Valhallan Ice Warriors. Steel Legion. Oh, look at all those ancient models. I think that's, yeah, that's back when they had metal turrets still. Oh, Tech Piece Engine Seers. The Commissars, the Regimental Advisors, Ratlings, the Old Metal Ogrons. Okay, yeah, they don't. Lord Commissar Yavik, Ministerium Priest, Ogren Squad, Psycho Battle Squad. Guards and Marble. This is also back when you could have ridiculous sized amounts of infantry on the battlefield for guardsmen. It didn't take long for people to start realizing that you could just win the game by just throwing an insane number of troops at your opponent. Like, for instance, back then, you had you didn't have a limit on like each unit. You couldn't, like, now you've got like, you can take 3 of each unit unless it's battle line. You can take 6 at games over 1,000 points. Back then, you had 6 troop choices, and that meant you had 6 squads who counted as troops, and that was it. Like, if you had like one squad, one tactical squad, and one intercessor squad, that'll count as 2 of your choice, 2 of your 6 choices, rather than 1 out of 6 each. But with this, a single troop choice was a command squad, up to 5 infantry squads, up to 5 heavy weapon squads, up to 2 special weapon squads, and a conscript squad. Meaning you could have 105, well over 105 models as a single troop choice. Meaning if all you did was take the minimum upgrades and got yourself 5 squads of infantry, and you could just turn them into one big squad. Oh no, it's a conscript squad, only 30 actually. It might have only been 30 for conscripts. Oh yeah, 30. Oh no, 50. Yeah, you can have up to 50 of them and for only 4 points each. So it's absolutely insane. So you could have 50 dudes in one squad. And then you could have 5 infantry squads, and each of them could then be combined together into just one giant squad. So that's a squad of 50, another squad of 50, and you could then also have a command squad leading. Well, you had to have a command squad leading it. But that also just counts as a troop choice. So that meant 105 guys, meaning you could have like 630 dudes. Just 630 dudes. And it doesn't even cost that many points because your infantry squads only cost 5 points to model. Like, where is it? Yeah, 5 points a model if you don't take any upgrades. Oh, it's stupid. Off to cook breakfast. Goodbye. I think it was a requirement to have so many models. I don't think it was a requirement because I don't think the older rules for guardsmen were this bad. For just allowing you to have hundreds upon hundreds of models. Because I don't think 4th edition was as bad for it. But how many was it? And you have to remember at the time, a lot of models were a lot more expensive than they are now in terms of points. Like Space Marines, you could have in 1,000 points far less Space Marines than you can have today. Because of just how expensive they were, especially if you start taking for upgrades and for special weapons and stuff on them, especially like things of Terminators where it's like 40 points a model for a Terminator that has 1 wound and is only toughness 4. And only has a 5+ invulnerable save, not a 4+ invulnerable save. It was insane. So yeah, you've got 250 points plus another 200 points, 450 points plus 30. It's 480 points for 105 models. And it was stupid. I absolutely loved it. Anthony had Chenkov. Orcs were also pretty expensive. I think they were like 6 or 7 points a model, and they could have squads of 30. But orcs back then absolutely sucked. Like, if you want to know how much they sucked, for Initiative 2, so they're slower than Guardsmen, they only got 1 attack, they were only Toughness 4, they were only Strength 3, so they were as strong as Guardsmen. They gained +1 strength on the charge, and everyone gained +1 attack on the charge. You didn't get to automatically strike first on the charge, but what this meant is that guardsmen charging into orcs often could just kill off the orcs, because orcs also only had a 6+ armor save, and I think you had to pay points to get that armor save. Oh, here's the hand. Here's the hand I was trying to find earlier. Found it. So anyone that played orcs was super duper based. Yeah, so orcs had some really cool stuff going on, but it was more just like, back then the game was not very balanced. It was all just played for vibes. They were trying to balance it by 5th edition, but up until then a lot of it was very vibe based. So like orcs were just, they were terrible. A lot of your dice rolling, a lot of your weapons were just super random. They had almost as much chance of blowing you up as they did the enemy with half of your weapons, especially your best ones. But you could just loot any vehicle you wanted. You could have looted railguns if you wanted, and that was hilarious. Well, gotta get myself some Talon models or your Scions. Waiting for the new kill team to come out. The new kill team looks like it would be great for kit bashing into Talon. Apparently the Praetorian Guard have a character in the lore called Captain Kane that fought a 40k version of Vorkstrift. I wouldn't be surprised. I like rocket teams. Rocket teams are fun. But yeah, it was a very silly time to play Warhammer. Especially fantasy orcs absolutely sucked. Like literally you could, every single squad except Black Orcs or Odd Boys, whatever you want to call them, you had to roll a dice for. On a 1, they would attack one of your other squads or one of your other units. On a 6, they'll do what you do. On a 5 or 6, they do what you want to do. On a 1, they attack one of the other units. On a 2, they attack one another and hurt themselves. On a 3, they just move randomly. On a 4, they move towards the closest enemy. It was something like that. It was super stupid trying to play orcs. It's like, okay, I'm not going to play orcs, I'm going to play trolls. It's like, okay, roll a dice every single turn. On a 6 they can do what you want them to do. On a 1, 2 or 3 they'll do nothing, and on a 4 or 5 they'll just go towards the closest enemy or something stupid. So they did certain stuff. Sorry, my internet died off there. Hi, Dennis and Misery. I see after refresh. Yeah. Sorry, sometimes internet dies there. But yeah, back then balance was... It was weird. Some things were balanced, but then you had like space means I felt like for a long time were absolutely terrible. And one of the reasons like why guardsmen were good is because with space means everything only had 1 wound. You did have a 3+ armor save, but if the enemy just took plasma cannons, you're basically just screwed over. And for lots of AP-free weapons and stuff. And what that meant is that they just completely ignored your armor. And because you only have 1 wound, even on your Terminators, you're only toughness 4. And your models were so expensive. Like a basic space marine is costing 3 times as much as a guardsman. But if a guardsman's last gun wounds you, there's a 1 in 3 chance you're going to die anyway. And back then, cover was a lot more effective because effectively cover gave you an invulnerable save. Of if you're in cover, you get off either if you're fully in cover, hard cover, you get a 4+ save. If you're in the fortifications, you get a 3+ save. And if you are in light cover, you get a 5+ save. And if you're only half in light colour, you get a 6+ save. But all of these are completely unaffected by AP, similar to invulnerable saves. So that meant space means having a 3+ armor save didn't feel that good, especially for how expensive they are. And while they did have kind of decent weaponry and stuff on them, it's like you put down your Terminators, you deep strike them, and back then when you deep struck Terminators, you had to scatter them. And if you scattered in terrain, you had to roll a bunch of dice, and there's a chance that you just lose your Terminators. But it just meant that if the opponent just poured some fire into you, you were eventually just going to roll 1s, and all it took is 1 bad roll to just wipe out your entire squad. Well, at least now you don't get that. With Terminators having 3 wounds each, with AP only reducing your armor save, being toughness 5, having 4+ invulnerable saves. Terminators feel so much nicer. Space Marines feel so much nicer. So much for 2 hearts and 5 lungs and whatever. Yes, Space Marines were absolutely terrible. I played Black Templars and the amount of times I just completely lost because half of my army is 1 squad of Terminators. Like, okay, I think it was like 40 points per model. And then you pay a bunch of points to give them grenades. And then you pay a bunch of points to get like your assault cannon and your power fists. And then you add a commander into the squad. And your opponent just fires some last guns into them. And you roll a bunch of 1s, lose the entire squad except your commander. Then they fire 1 missile. And it's a strength 8 weapon, so it means it instantly kills your commander. And it's like, no! Or they fire a last cannon. Oh, and it was also so much. What I like now is that most of the kits, if you want to build a squad with most kits, not all kits, but most kits now, anything that comes in the unit you buy, in the box you buy, can be used to build that squad. And with most kits, any options on the squad is in the box that you buy. Back then, you buy some guardsmen, it's like, here's a flamethrower, here's a grenade launcher. That's it. You want some heavy weapons, well, you're going to have to buy a heavy weapon squad, and all it comes with is missiles. It's like, oh, you want to get a plasma gun? Well, for 10 quid, you can buy yourself 1 plasma gun. No, I think it was like £7.50 for a plasma gun. And it's a dude with a plasma gun. Yeah, you can get that. It doesn't come in the main box. You want a plasma gun to take on Space Marines? There you go. It's like you got yourself a tactical squad. Well, back then it only came with 1 flamethrower, a bunch of bolt guns, 1 chainsword, 1 bolt pistol, and 1 missile launcher. You want any other weapon in your squad? Well, you're going to have to buy some other metal models for it. £7.50 per. Or some of them were like £12.50. It's like, yeah, if you don't want to be spending a bunch of money, and it's like, especially things like las cannons, it was like, oh, las cannons and plasma cannons are so good, but for metal models, they don't come on for the other squads. Yeah, I mean, back then it was cheaper in general. Like, you weren't paying 40 quid for a single squad. Instead, you were paying like 20 quid, 25 quid for a single squad. And if you want any special weapons, it's like £7.50 to £12, sometimes £15. But so it would be cheaper now. But if you take into account inflation and stuff, the game's kind of cheaper in a lot of ways. By then, they were starting to put more into plastic and including more in the boxes. Like, that's with 5th edition is when they brought out the Lehman Russ and the Hellhound that we have today. Although there were 2 Lehman Russes that they sold at the time, which is why current Lehman Russes have 2 turret options. They sold the old one that had the Demolisher Cannon and the Battle Cannon, and then that one only had heavy bolter sponsons, I believe. And then they had one that was had the plasma cannons, heavy bolter sponsons, and the last cannon, heavy flame and heavy bolter hull mounted weapon. And oh yeah, I think the battle cannon one only had the heavy bolter hull mounted and the heavy flame and not the last cannon. And then they sold but for one that had the plasma cannons and stuff, also had the Punisher cannon, the plasma cannon, and the auto cannon. The Basilisk could build the Hydra. Could you build? No, you couldn't build the Hydra at the time. The Hydra and the Basilisk were 2 separate kits. The Hellhound finally came out. That wasn't just a metal version. Sucks if you wanted to build a quad fusion Cold Star, but each set comes with only 1 fusion gun. Yeah. Now, with the way that they currently do it, back then, WYSIWYG was like a thing. Like, the amount of times I'd go into a game and be like, can I proxy this for this? And it's like, no, you can't. It's like, I've only got 1 plasma gun, but I want 2 plasma guns for the squad. It's like, well, no. Or it's like some kits didn't have enough to actually build the proper, the unit anymore. Like, it might have been able to build the old version of the unit, but it couldn't build the new version of the unit. And the amount of time I just had people telling me, no, I can't play what I want to play. Or it's like, no, I have to play for master modeled with. Oh, it's because the squad couldn't build what it's meant to. It's like, oh, now though, WYSIWYG isn't as important. If you decide, like, my current Code Stars with fusion guns, all I've done is given, like, the second fusion gun instead of just giving them shields instead of the second fusion gun. Nowadays, if I just put that down and say, hey, these guys all have 2 fusion guns each because that's what the squad says, I can do that in a tournament and it'll be fine. No one at the tournament will complain. Tournament organisers will be like, yeah, that's fine. It's like, they've clearly all got fusion guns. Only one of them has 2 fusion guns, but you can just imagine the others are just shooting twice. There's still a few things where you can't do that too much, and that's generally where you have the kill team version of something and the non-kill team version of something. Such as, if you get the Halfkin Warriors of a Photon, you have the... oh, what's it called? The High Las Rotary Las Cannon, or whatever it's called. That only comes in the kill team Scavenger set. It doesn't come with the Halfkin Warriors. And that's something where it's like, I want to have that in my squad, but you don't have a model, then you're generally not going to get away with it. Unless you can make a suitable proxy for it. But back then, yeah. Also, 6th edition, I believe, brought in, weapons having different AP values. I think it brought in power mauls, power swords, and power axes. And I liked using power axes and power mauls on my models over power swords. Partly just great variation. But that caused a lot of issue as... I can't remember which one it was. It was either power mauls or power axes kind of sucked compared to power swords. But a lot of my models were armed with them. And I'm like, oh, now it sucks. It costs more points. And it's not as good. Nowadays, they've just like, yeah, it's just a power weapon now. So don't worry about it. But yeah. So Warhammer in a lot of ways is a lot cheaper than it used to be. A lot more expensive, but also cheaper. Back then, it also had more models were metal or resin. So, yeah. Nowadays, you got more models in plastic, which makes it more accessible and easier to work with. But here we go. Cadia's legacy. The sundering of Cadia may have broke the planet, but not for the soul of the Cadians. It is a common belief that the mantra Cadia stands will ring true so long as a Cadian soldier draws breath and fights in the name of the Imperium. Ursula's Creed father, Lord Castellan Ursula Creed, is believed to have fallen for defence of Cadia during the 13th Black Crusade. His title has now been passed to his daughter, and with it, so too has the indomitable spirit of the Cadians. Ursula Creed led the forces to the bitter end of Cadia's defence. Chain of Command. Astra Militarum is a sprawling, complex organisation built upon a rigid hierarchy that ensures that each and every soldier, from fresh recruit to hardened officer, knows their place. The title of Lord Castellan or Lord Marshal is given to the regimental commanders such as Ursula Creed of Cadia and Farnan Dreyer of the Krieg. While such soldiers wield incredible power and influence, they too must answer to the organisation's high commander and ultimately the Emperor. Yeah! And there's her rules. She can give 3 orders to regimental units, which is pretty nice. Lord Solo is still the best commander though. He's not the same as Lord Solar Macarius, but still. The Lord Castellan Cadia is a forbidding and impeccable strategist and a symbol of the enduring indomitability of Cadia's armies. Ursula Creed's superior generalship, forged over long years, has seen her lead numerous Imperial armies to victory against the enemies that threatened the Imperium. Yeah! And this is a thing that I'm meant to rip out and take pictures with. Okay. Okay, Combat Patrol 75. Getting into the heart of the law. Ugh. Ooh, they got the pop-out things. Cadian shock troops. We love our Cadian shock troops. Cadian command squads. Ah, she's not my goat. She'll never be my goat. Wait, who'll never be your goat? Look at these things. These are little 2D terrain pieces. Ursula Krieg. Or Creed, whatever you call her. Ooh, chaosy things. Ooh, this is the corn stuff in it. The jackals, the Lord and Juggernaut. Ooh. I prefer Cornmongers. Gormongers. Ursula, sorry. Was a bit farther back. Don't worry about it. Ursula, I don't mind Ursula. It was a bit of a surprise to find that Creed died when I got back into Warhammer. I was like, what? Creed's dead. And then it's like, wait, no, he might not be dead. But he's dead. He's not dead. He's dead. He's not dead. Schools of corn. Yeah, a lot of these rules are kind of oldish. But they're still very usable. Oh yeah, we got the jackals today. Oh my gosh. These field batteries, ordnance for bombards, and for heavy last cannon. One of my favourite units in the game. Data cards. Okay, I already have... Before I ever got the magazine, I already had, you know, 3 sets of... artillery. Of field ordnance. But... one of them's been built. Or has 2 of them been built? I think only 1 of them. So not really sure what I'm gonna do with that. I think I'm gonna build 3 as bombards and then 1 as last cannons because they're my favourite. I just want to have a line of, you know, for artillery piece siege cannons and the... There you go. What do you call them? The bombards. Ordnance battery bombard. Just a whole line of them just lined up, ready to go. Doom. The sound of the guns go boom, 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 boom. No, wait, how does it go? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. If you don't know what that's from Blackadder, in which it's the poem that Baldric makes, and it's called The Sound of the Enemy Guns. Or is it just the sound of the guns? Look at them. Look at that. Oh, it's the best one. Look at that. Go. Ooh, how to paint your models. You're the yellow, white scar. Okay, this isn't going to be love, it looks like. It's just using the paints. Yeah, I have no idea how people paint that neatly. Oh, Bonds of Honor Part 19! Okay. So what happened in Bonds of Honor? So Bonds of Honor is a bunch of Silver Templar who are Ultramarine successors, but they really, really like their guns. And what I mean by that is that they make their own guns and they form like a bond with them. And it's like a sacred bond. And in an attack against some Tyranids, Mechavath or something like that, unfortunately made his sergeant like lose his gun while they're like dropping into the enemy, and it just landed somewhere on the battlefield. Then they fought against the Tyranids. The Sergeant Askerton ended up killing a Tyranid Prime with just his dagger. He jeweled it and took it out with his combat knife. Wada! And then they fought to the rest of the Tyranids, went into a tunnel. They chased out the tunnel. Some Infernus Marines saved them from all the Tyranids that were inside the tunnel. Then the battle against the Tyranids of the planet was won. And what did we do after they won that? Oh yeah, then they got the opportunity to look for the gun, couldn't find it, so they thought some scavengers might have taken it. So they're given a Thunderhawk and told to go out and find, and allowed to go out and try and like harass the local scavenger groups and stuff to see if they can find the gun. They managed to find like one beaten up small shuttle. They went on it. Couldn't find the gun there. Then they got harassed by some Eldari Corsairs. Took out the Eldari Corsairs. Got back on the Thunderhawk. Realised that they accidentally travelled into the midst of a ship battle in space against some between Corsairs and some Chaos Marines. A Chaos Thunderhawk tried dueling them and chasing them. They both damaged one another and crash landed onto a planet. Their Thunderhawk was destroyed, but they managed to survive. The Chaos Space Marines weren't so lucky. But then they realised that there were loads of orcs of the planet who were now hunting for the survivors of the crash. But for some Death Copters, they wanted to take out the Death Copters and were going to sneak into the camp to take out the Death Copters because, you know, that's going to spot them. only to find out that commandos had been already on their trail the entire time. And they got rid of the commandos, but alerted the rest of the camp. They got swarmed by orcs. They looked like they were going to get overwhelmed. Then some Photan saved them. After some deliberating with a Photan, the sergeant managed to barter them passage off-world to an Imperial world in exchange for helping kill an orc war boss. They fought the orc war boss. Well, they went to the camp, caused distraction. A lot of them died. Well, a lot of the enemy died. 2 of them were quite badly injured, I believe. In the end, the Photon had managed to clear out the orcs and get rid of this annoying war boss. The Photon then dropped them off in a random Imperial world in the middle of nowhere. Then the local Astra Militarum went out to meet them. But unfortunately, this was a world that was already at war with something. And they're like, hey, we're both peaceful. Except for local Astra Militarum weren't too sure. And we're going to meet one another when suddenly a sniper took out the Astra Militarum commander. And suddenly, the Astra Militarum thought it was actually the Space Marines who were at fault. So now the Astra Militarum was shooting at the Space Marines, and there's this third force there, and that's where we pretty much left off. Yeah, so now, and this entire story is being told by a dude of the Silver Templars who's training up some neophytes. He forced them to climb this mountain equivalent to... Oh, what's it called? What's the tallest mountain in the world? Whatever. That mountain. I forgot. Everest. Yeah, they basically forced some neophytes to climb up the equivalent of Everest, where they had a chapel built on top of it. Then he fed them some stale bread and some bad water. And showed them the apothecary. Keeps reminding them most of them won't survive the process of becoming Space Marines. Because he's a meanie person. And also forced him to sleep in some basement that's open to the elements. So, yeah. But they got these neophytes. Remember, neophytes are only young. Now, my boys. Come with me and let me show you the walls. The very same ones that you passed through when you entered Fortress Monastery. But then, no doubt, you were considering not the walls themselves, but your new life inside them. Let us return and look at them anew, for they are not just stone. They mark the start of a holy ground that you now stand on. We will go and see one of the sentry posts that you may guard should you become one of us. It's a great honour to stand watch over thy gate, and only the best of us are allowed to take this post. But I have high hopes for you, and some of you anyway. And I would not be entirely surprised to see one or more of you standing sentry here in some years' time. Is that a predator tank? No, that's not a predator tank. That's a weird looking Lehman Russ tank. That looks like a cross between a Chimera and a Lehman Russ. Hi. I would not be entirely surprised to see one or more of you standing quite. First, though, you must complete your training and your transformation, and you must listen to the rest of my tale. Oh no. For I had left Sergeant Ascaton and his brothers in a perilous place had I not. No! Why say no? Get some lads. This chat is driving me insane. What's wrong? What's wrong, that guy over there? Oh no, I'm going to get myself a cola. There we go. Typing the chat is not working properly. Are you sure? I mean, I'm seeing all your chat messages. Or at least I think most of them. But hi TA, how you doing? What's this? Where's my there's my not pen knife. Yes, I had left Sergeant Astra and his buffers in a rather perilous place, had I not? We had just encountered the Astra Militarum, and one of their number had been shot dead. Being that the Space Marines were attacking them, the guardsmen opened fire on the squad. The squad knew that there was a new enemy as yet unseen, and they awaited this foe's arrival. Inside their helmet, sensor rays lit up, showing the direction of incoming small arms fire. There were lasgun pulses from the Astra Militarum soldiers, no threat to a fully armoured Space Marine behind heavy cover, but there was also something else, something far more dangerous. At the same time, shells started to whistle overhead, landing all across the ground, dashing the ruins to powder and churning the ground to mud. Gonna try and send it in the Discord. Okay. There you go. Captain Abraham. Oh, is that actually... I remember that mod. I never knew that was Captain Abraham. Okay, so that guy over there. If you send messages too quickly, like too many messages in a row, YouTube will stop like allowing it. It basically doesn't like you when you spam messages. On top of this, if your internet gets a bit spotty or whatever, just reload the stream. But sometimes YouTube's just like that, unfortunately. There's not much I can do about it. Just avoid it, I guess. Okay, gotcha. So panicking was causing the issues. Yeah. YouTube can be a bit difficult at times, though. In general, if you're having issues like that, just wait a few minutes and try again. But the squad knew that there was a new enemy as yet unseen. Where was this? Where were we up to? There was also something else, something far more dangerous at the same time. But the sound of their explosions, Maximus recognized them as Imperial cells, and a sudden realization struck him. Whatever was attacking them now must be so fearsome that the Astra Militarum were willing to show their own soldiers if it might give them a chance of halting its advance. A shell landed nearby, sending dust and shrapnel flying through the air. While it deflected the Space Marine's armor with little more than scraping noises, it cut through the flesh of lightly armored guardsmen. The Space Marines could see some of them still sheltering within the ruins, trying to fight back amid the noise and the smoke. Meanwhile, the crack of bolt rifles echoed through the buildings, rounds sipping overhead, and as the shots of the new foe became more frequent, the guardsmen seemed to realise that the true enemy was bearing down upon them, and they turned their rifles away from the squad and onto the unseen enemy. Sergeant Askerton signalled to Brother Mactras to follow him, and the two ran straight towards the oncoming foe. In their path was a small huddle of guardsmen who had survived the barrage, terror was fixed in their eyes as they were caught between the onrushing foe and the charging Space Marines. but seconds later, Maktas and Askerton. So he's the one that accidentally lost Askerton's rifle, which they form a bond with, so it's incredibly important he gets it back. Were past them, practically thundering over them before they were left behind. The noise of small arms fire intensified, and they saw the first of the assailants. They came as a huge tide of red, like a wave of blood pouring over the city, spilling around the ruins and flooding down the streets towards the two space marines. Here and there, blasts of plasma and the crack off bolts signalled another small pocket of Astra Militarum resistance that had been snuffed out. But above the sound of the guns screamed the din of roaring chainsaws and the baying of foul voices. The Space Marines recognised them at once as a heretic brethren and ancient enemies, a band of world eaters, traitorous followers of Khorne. Overhead, a huge figure stood astride a giant armoured beast. Both were clad in blood-red plate and covered with scars, some of which had looked a bit like scraps of hair and flesh on them. Make no mistake, these were not mere icons with the heads of slain enemies. Who knows the minds of ones who have fallen so barbarously? Perhaps they glory in the fear they instill in their enemies. Perhaps they glory in having a remainder of death and bloodshed so close to hand. A reminder. Perhaps they revel in degrading themselves just as they degrade the remains of enemies. I suspect that anyone who knows the truth of this is likely as lost as these barbarians were. And such dishonourable creatures could not only be understood by foes with no honour themselves. As the army moved intractably towards them, Maktas held back slightly, expecting his sergeant to take the lead. But this last time, he didn't. "Go on, boy," came Sergeant's voice in Maktas' helmet. "He's yours." Still eager to prove himself, Maktas levelled his bolt rifle and discharged a round. It flew true, and in a blaze of sparks it struck the mount. The rider turned his plasma pistol on the two. Oh, there was a figure stood astride a giant armoured beast. So, it's a guy on a juggernaut. Okay. Bolt rifle. It flew in a blaze of sparks as it struck the mount. The rider turned his plasma pistol on the two and sent blasts of plasma towards them. The bucking of the mount threw his aim off and his shots went wide. Maktas fired a shot clean at the mount again and it struck true. But though the mount writhed and bucked, it did not look like an animal in pain. And as it drew closer, Maktas saw that it was a machine. Its eyes blazed with a demonic fire, and it seemed to have a mind of its own. It was a creature of metal and gears. Sergeant Askerton began to fire, but true to his word, he left the ride of the beast to Maktas and concentrated his fire on foes around the creature who fell under his expert marksmanship. Just as the two were about to be overwhelmed, a swell of shouting and last fire filled the air. Out of the ruins streamed the surviving soldiers of the Astra Militarum, running selflessly towards the foe, and the tide of red hit a wall of green. As the battle swirled around him, Maktas, this world reduced to just a single enemy in front of him, and with a third shot, the mount finally skidded to a halt, unmoving, but that still left the rider to deal with. Honestly, trying to take out a Khorne juggernaut with a bolt rifle is very, very difficult. Juggernauts are tough. Like toughness 7, field ordnance batteries are giant guns with catapult devastating munitions far across the battlefield. As they rain down doom and death, the ground shakes beneath them, and their cacophonous blasts deafen any enemies were foolish enough to try and breach the lines of the Astra Militarum. Yeah! Ordnance batteries, bombast field guns, Malice rocket launcher. Oh, it doesn't show for heavy las cannon on this data sheet. Campaign thing, Orcs versus Astra Militarum. Astra Militarum versus Photon. Ooh, that's so cool. Yeah! Although, I've been listening to the book, Dawn of Fire, Gate of Bones. And that book, it has, you know, Space Marines in. It has a lot more focus on Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines than the previous book did. Oh, yeah. Look how big the... this is the one thing I don't like about Ordnance batteries. Is the base is just so massive. It takes up a lot of space. Especially for the last cannon variation. You can't just, like, put it in a ruin. Because its base is too big for it. But still, I like to get myself a blasting blender. A blasting blender. I absolutely adore the artillery pieces and the how to paint your guardsmen and stuff. Either using the same sort of idea as before. Yeah, for the darker skin tone, I think I'm going to try doing this. For darker skin tones, I usually don't like using catechin flesh. Here it suggests using catechin flesh. But I don't like using it because I feel like it doesn't have enough warmth in it. It feels like dried out. That's what it looks like when I look at it. It's like pallid rich flesh for skin. It feels like something you'd do for somebody who's dead, not actual skin colours. But they then go over with my favourite darker skin colour, which is Night Questoris. Usually I like to go Night Questoris and then put Guilliman flesh over it and then highlight again with Night Questoris. Or maybe like do for very open highlights with Cadian flesh tone, where it's catching the light the most. But here what they do instead is catechin flesh and then highlight with Night Questoris. I'm thinking maybe that'll actually be better. Because the Night Questoris is not that dark, even with Guilliman flesh tone over it. I just don't like that they can't really put in vehicles too well. Oh yeah, you can't put the artillery in vehicles, sadly. You can put heavy weapon teams in vehicles, like mortars and stuff. But mortars kind of suck. They're boring. Yeah. So I might try that. I think I'm going to try that with my next Space Marines that I paint. I'm a bit afraid, though, of the skin colours, because I've tried different tones, but at the moment, Night Questoris is my favourite darker skin tone. Guilliman flesh really brings in the shadows and darkness to it. But yeah. What do they do for this? Yeah, but you want Viking and Flesh Shade over... What do they do? I think they just use Wraithbone for the flesh. Yeah, they use Wraithbone for the pale flesh colour, which I think is absolutely insane. And then they just put Viking and Flesh Shade over it, which... I mean, it works, apparently. I would have done that. I think they go Pallid Rich Flesh for the highlights on it, which... Oh no, I feel like it just makes them feel ill. It makes them look ill, which I mean, I guess maybe that's what they kind of want to do. Your guardsmen are going to look a bit ill. Yeah, he looks... Yeah, I think pallid rich flesh is just not a great colour for that. I think it would have been better going for Kislev flesh, which has a bit of warmth to it. Like, by warmth, I just mean it's got a bit of orange in it. But you can see, it makes it not feel dried out. Or like, whatever. But yeah, I do think... I can't argue too much over suits on most of these things. But I guess that's one of the things. You trust your process. I've been studying these. Off stream, I have been reading these a lot more. Like the other way that they paint them. Because, you know, it's interesting. It's interesting to know. Nice to look at different ways of them. One thing I don't like about how they paint the tones with some of this is that they do the leather the same way that they do the skin, which just makes it look the same. Especially when they have characters wearing leather gloves next to characters that just have the skin out. Like there, that guy's wearing gloves. That's painted the same way somebody else has their skin painted. I feel like leathers you need to paint them separately. To make the models more readable. That's why I like going for Mornfang brown on leathers though. Well, there we go. An Agrax Earthshade. So, what we're doing? How do they do the gunmetals though? Is that literally just lead belcher? How to glue sub-assemblies together. Remove sticky tack. Oh, there we go. I literally suggest using sticky tack. I actually added a few studio kit bashes in here. Yeah, they've not done any kit bashes. There is something interesting here though. Where they suggest with this kit, don't glue it together. Instead, put it together with blue tack first. And then, well, sticky tack. And then paint it and then properly glue it together. Which is pretty cool. How do we do the gunmetal? Oh, I'm going to start them grey on some of the gun stuff. Oh, they use Auric flesh on the boxes to give it that sort of, you know, worn, slightly mouldy look to it. That's interesting. Oh, and they use it to give it the worn look on the green of the metal as well. Okay, that's cool. Like, do they use... Where's the painting of the metal? Lead belcher. For known oil. Yeah, I was wondering if they're going to use Stormhouse Silver, because Stormhouse Silver is a much nicer paint to work with than Lead Belcher. Okay, they only use the Stormhouse Silver for highlights. That works. Work complete. Oh, wait. For cheating. For cheating. For showing you work complete, but that's not what they did here. So if you look at this, that's not just astrogranite turf on it. So we're putting astrogranite on the base, but if you look, it's just a solid colour pretty much. What they do, and they've done this on their channel, like if you go to the how to paint models, they show you how to do this. And what they do is they put it down, they wait for it to dry, then you dry brush over, or you put like a wash onto the base once it's dried with your texture paint, and you dry brush over it with like a lighter colour to give it this thing where it's lighter at the top, darker in the sharp recesses. So it looks, you know, nicer. Oh, the cheating. The rest of this, as far as I can tell, is pretty... Other than the eyes, I don't know if it told you how to do the eyes here. Yeah, they've not shown you to paint the eyes, but if you actually look at the model, like even there you can just about see he's got his eyes already painted. And here he's very clearly got eyes. And that guy also has eyes. I wonder if there's any more areas where they just cheated a little bit and they did extra painting on it that they didn't tell you to do. But yeah, so I got really distracted by the painting there. Oh. Looks like most of it though is like just stuff they took. Or did they tell you to do that blue screen? Oh, they did. McCrag blue. Oh, and then Calgar blue highlighting. Yeah. Wild Rider red on that button, on the light, sorry. Mephiston red, yes, so Mephiston red on the lights, highlight with Wild Rider red. Is that pretty much it? Yeah, that's all it shows here. Yeah, I can't see any other places where they cheated a little bit. But yeah, so I've been looking a lot more into painting and watching more of the official how to paint things on Warhammer. So I've been getting more into this. I've been trying to learn how to paint better. The Indomitus Crusade. Many demands have been placed upon the Astra Militarum in the millennia since its founding, but none so great as those placed upon it by the Indomitus Crusade. When the Cicatrix Maledictum tore the galaxy asunder, it ushered in a new and terrible era for the Imperium. Seeing the desperate situation that mankind was in, Ubuntu Gulliman embarked upon an audacious undertaking, a fast crusade beyond the Great Rift and into Imperium Nihilus. He intended to take the fight to a force of chaos and deliver those beleaguered worlds cut off from the light of the Astronomicon. For such a momentous undertaking, huge numbers of starships, military equipment and personnel needed to be assembled. Responsibility of providing such a large number of troops would forward for Astra Militarum, who have ever been the backbone of the Imperium's military might. Now, one of the things I didn't like about the previous story thing that we were reading, oh gosh, pages are tearing, it keeps talking about how tough the Space Marines and how unkillable they are. And it's like, yeah, a lot of the lore doesn't really say that anymore. Oh my gosh, look at that really cool art for these guys. Custodian. It's not Lord Solar, sorry. Is that a Calgar there? I think that's Calgar. Imperial commanders plan out a campaign against the Aldari Imperial Nihilus. Wait, I feel like this is older than Imperial Nihilus, this artwork. I mean, they're clearly fighting against Wraith Lords and Titans and Knights and stuff. Heroes beyond count. Although the soldiers of Astra Militarum are no strangers to the horrors of war, the Imperium Nihilus is a dark and foreboding region that would test the courage of even the bravest soldier. Touched by the natural energies of a warp, it is a realm where demons walk and madness reigns. Despite this, the soldiers of Astra Militarum remain undaunted, determined to uphold Gulliman's vision of a restored Imperium. As the Crusade fleets press into the Dark Imperium, many worlds have been reclaimed by the efforts of Imperial Guard. The citadel of the infamous Blood Cardinal of Skylar IV was cast down by the expert siege regiments of Krieg. The Eldari incursions into the Siphonus system were driven back by a series of rapid assaults by the Armageddon Steel Legion and the Tillen Rough Riders, and the industrial world Prospera was liberated from the grip of the heretical techno-cultists by the combined might of Acadian shock troops and Gethsemane rifles. Everywhere tales are told of simple human courage in the face of impossible odds, and indefatigable fighting spirit of Astra Militarum. I have never seen... I've seen fatigue, I've seen indefatigable, unfatigable. It just means untiming. I can tell that much, but I don't know the word. By the untiring fighting spirit of the Astra Militarum. Humanity's heroes. Yeah. Oh, it's meant. I have that kit. I've not built them yet. Because I plan to convert them. Fighting that word. Wait, can I get the Cuptle to say it? Cuptle, you need to say the word for me.
Indefatigable.
Indefatigable? I don't think that's how it's... Indefatigable. I don't think that's how that is pronounced, but... Yeah, we got Hell's Last here. Upside down Hell's Last. Hell's Last! Yeah, really cool. Look like Commissar. Motorgun dude. Weird dude. Priest with a banner. A Verslesk. Just as the armies of Astra Militarum are unimaginably fast, so too is a roll call of heroes who have served in its rank. Every regiment and world can put a name to scores of honoured warriors. However, for foes whose service records are just so great, they are renowned throughout the Imperium. Ursula Creed is a hardened battlefield general and a brilliant strategist. She holds Cadia's highest military office, hardened by a lifetime of war against the followers of the ruinous powers. She is ruthless in her prosecution of the Imperium's wars, but she knows a high price of failure. She possesses incredible determination and great strategic insight, which is unrivalable.
Password of the day. Travel. I'm in Denmark. The hotel room looks like a cleaner version of a hive hub. It's a bed, a bathroom, and a TV by tea.
Bye for bed. Nice! I'm glad you're enjoying it, French Puff. And hello, Nanofate, and hello, French Puff. How you both doing? If that's how it's pronounced, oh my gosh.
Indefatigable.
Indefatigable. That sounds stupid. Indefatigable. 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 Minka Lest displayed great fortitude, having survived the fall of Cadia. Undaunted by the supernatural powers she witnessed, she has risen to the rank of captain in the Cadian 101st. She is an honourable warrior and a compassionate leader. 501st! Isn't the 501st Anakin's Clone Wars Squadron? This compassionate leader who commands the utmost respect and loyalty of the troops under her command. While she understands the realities of war, she refuses to sacrifice the lives of her troops needlessly. Yeah, I'm good. Got some pictures that I sent to Discord. Yeah, I discovered today that Sudan isn't such a boring country. At least not to the south. Oh, Sweden. I like warmer countries more, but the south of Sweden is nice. Oh, I'm not a cat. Why so mean? I've run across Indefatigable 3 times in 40 years of reading. Oh, it's a Bombardment. Look at him. That's not what he
Hello,
looks like.
Cupcake.
Hello, Clyde. I thought he was paler and more gaunt. I'm thinking of Shafir. I know he's got bright green eyes or something like that. But I never had that as an idea of what he looked like. I imagined him more hardened. Kitty. Kitty. Gaunt is an unconventional but highly effective leader. Unusual for a commissar, he leads by example through displays of virtue rather than imposition of terror. As a result, he is respected by many of the soldiers and commanders he has served with. He sees it as his duty to defy corruption in all its forms. This has brought him into conflict with other officers, and for those within the higher echelon of Imperial Command who consider his unorthodox approach and idealism problematic, presumably because they have something to hide. Gaunt's Ghost. For many years, Gaunt has led the Tanith Festonone, an ill-fated regiment whose planet was destroyed by chaos. This is a light infantry force that specialises in reconnaissance and skirmish warfare. Although the relationship with the regiment was fraught at first, Gaunt has gradually won their respect through his displays of heroism. He leads on the front, fighting alongside his troops and inspiring their efforts. Commissar Gaunt leads the charge of Tanith Festonone. Aren't like half of these guys dead? Indefatigable. Knock, dead nog. Dead dog. Knock, dead dog. Look at him. We saw him earlier. Severin Rain, I've got her book. It's unusual for an abhuman to become lauded as a hero, but not Dead Dog was an unusual Ogren. He possessed a great intellect. Well, I think he is the oldest character here, not Dead Dog. He's older than Gaunt. He's definitely older than Creed. He's definitely older than Les. Definitely older than Rain. Like in terms of being around for longest in the lore. Dead Dog was an unusual Ogren. He possessed a great intellect for one of his kind, and was said to have been able to read and write his own name and even speak in whole sentences. Such unusual abilities soon earned him recognition, and he was assigned as a bodyguard to Colonel Grease of the Catechan II. After a distinguished life of service, Nark finally retired at the age of 110, returning to his homeworld of Formad 6 to live out the remainder of his days as a leader of his tribes. To this day, his descendants still proudly display his collection of medals. Oh, so is he not around anymore? I speak for the Emperor. Refuse me and you refuse him. Will you refuse? Severin Rain. Like all commissars, Severin Rain is an orphan. She was raised in the school Pogninium on Gloom, following the death of her parents. Her only link to her old life is an antique pocket watch, and she is determined to unravel the mysteries of her past. Rain is a stern and uncompromising zealot who has complete faith in the indefatigable will of a god emperor. Indefatigable. I used a word again! No! As a member of a... Wait. Has complete faith in the...
Indefatigable.
will of the god emperor. As a member of a commissariat, she would not hesitate to execute those who fail to follow orders without pity or regret. She is utterly remorseless, enforcing an iron discipline in her troops through fear. Rain does things not because she is cruel, but because she believes that the Emperor's cause is just, and that individual lives are meaningless in the face of humanity's struggle. Yeah, you tell him, Rain. I originally read that book, or got that book before I got back into the... about tolls. What do you mean it tolls? Yavik's alive. We know he's alive. He's not dead. What do you mean he's dead? Sounds it out. He's alive. Yeah, I got the Rain book before I got back into Warhammer. Because it just crossed my thing when I was browsing. I was like, oh, it's a female commissar. It's a female character. Oh my goodness. That's what Warhammer needed more of. I found it's like, God, I think for Arthur's also a woman. I was like, oh my goodness. Erskine Creed was a former Lord Castellan of Cadia, and he fought doggedly in its defense for many decades. He was famed the world over for galaxy over for his oratory and his inspiring speeches, helping the people of Cadia find new resolve even in their darkest hour. However, his military genius and determined resilience were not enough to hold back the forces of the Despoiler forever. Yet despite this, he fought to the surface of his beloved Cadia to his last, buying time for the evacuation of the planet. Official records list him as being among the dead, but his body was never found, and rumours persist that somehow he still lives. Yeah. And he's still fighting. Sebastian Yarrick had a long, distinguished career as a commissar of the Imperial Guard. He served with numerous regiments of the Necromunda and Luther McIntyre, but he was most famed for his battles against the Orcs. He first learned the language while fighting on Virulun as a young man. He continued to study their species and became an expert in their civilization and culture. This knowledge proved invaluable in his campaigns of the World of Armageddon, where he twice stood against the invasion for Orc warlord Gaskell Thacker. Following reports of his death, he is considered one of the greatest martyrs of the Imperium. He's not dead. He's not dead. He's alive. There's new models of him. Can't believe Ursula Creed transitioned to Ursula Creed. Oh no. It's his daughter. Envy and honoured dead, but their surface is now at an end. No, it's not. They're both still fighting. We know this. We've got to get like a new Inquisitor model. It's just got to be Creed. So Genestealer Cults v Astra Militarum campaign battle they can have. Ooh, scenario. Dawn of Fire. Another scenario. I love scenarios. As the vast swarms of Tyranid creatures approach Imperial held territories, artillery batteries are moved up to the front to bolster the Astra Militarum's defence positions. Ardent's thunders day and night, but will it be enough to break the alien hordes? Ooh, so it's like a game where there's just loads of Tyranids coming at you, and they just keep coming at you. Okay, that's fun. Okay, 77. 77! What's in this box set? A heavy weapon squad. Heavy weapon squads. Let's look. It's got a bunch of, it can have 3 missile launchers, 3 autocannons, 3 las cannons, 3 heavy bolters, or 3 mortars. Yeah. Where's the other half of those mortars? So rocket launcher, mortars, heavy bolters, las cannons, autocannons. I wonder. Oh, I think what you're meant to do is use, if you want to make the mortars, you use the mortar bits. Oh, put the light back on. You use these mortar bits with these bits here. And if you want to make the rocket launchers, use the rocket launcher bits here with these bits here. Yeah, I think that's how it goes. But I'm unsure if that's the case. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, never mind. Never mind. That's heavy bolt to parts. Yeah, I'm guessing that's how it must be. Guess I don't see the other half of the mortars anywhere. Huh. Well, here we go. Some 60mm bases. Are they 60 or are they 50? 50. Heavy weapon squads. Catachin heavy weapons. Catachin art looks cool. Catachin models, significantly less so. It only teaches you how to build for autocannons. And how to paint for autocannons too. Again, it suggests doing sub-assembly. Oh, they use Vtuber armor for the shell casings. I'm guessing they use Agrex Earthshade over it. Stormhost silver on them. As well. That's interesting. I never expected that. Do we do Agrex Earthshade on the... I don't think they use any shade on it. Seriously, do they not use any shade on the Vtuber armor? Oh no, they use Vigilant Flesh shade on it. Oh! I would have expected him to use Agrex. The Wraith Bone on the skin. Wraith Bone on the clothing. Lead Belcher for some of the grenades and metal, obviously. They use Agrex Earthshade of the clothing. Unsurprisingly. Ah. Well, interesting. Oh, no, they teach you how to base your miniature. Okay, there's a thing about dry brushing. Apply texture paint, apply shade on top, then dry brush it. And then base coat for rim to finish. Okay, yeah, that's how they teach you. Missed that last time. Think the Inquisitor Stormtroopers have come back with Mr. Creed leading them? Potentially. Death Road regiments. In a hostile galaxy. Look at these dudes. Look at these silly fellas. My gosh, they must be dehydrated. Look at their muscles. Those are the muscles of a dehydrated person. They must have plenty of protein in their diet, though. Like, these Death Roaders, as terrible as the planet is, they must be getting plenty of protein. Maybe not enough to drink, but plenty of protein. So let's look at this. In a hostile galaxy where humanity is beset on all sides by numerous and dangerous perils, there are still some places that are judged to be so dangerous that human settlements will likely not endure. From these dire wastes, many soldiers are recruited to the Astra Militarum, having learned from an early age how to fight and survive. Death World is the planets that the Imperium has designated as unable to support significant colonization or settlements. Nonetheless, some of these dire places are home to small populations that have found a way to survive in such hostile territory, and some of them have very, very large populations. Some of them have to be relatively nomadic, because maybe there'll be volcano explosions. Other times, maybe like creature migrations go through the change and go through the settlements. But yeah, some death worlds actually have quite significant populations. That being said, even a population of like 5 billion is probably a relatively small population to the Imperium. The people who make their homes amidst such dangers and death do not do so lightly, and even those who survive for more than a short length of time bear the marks of such fraught existence. Not only are many of them physically disfigured and scarred for the perils they face, but a severe stress leaves them with permanent marks on their psyche that they are never able to recover from completely. However, the men and women of these worlds are far from defeated. By contrast, they are some of the toughest and most determined servants of the Emperor of the whole galaxy. In these crucibles of death, they learn true resilience, develop mutual reliance on their comrades, and discover just how far they are willing to go to survive. Yeah! Well, more bonds of honour. Nice. But for perilous wastes... Yeah, this is some... Oh, I love these for Catachan Devils. I hope one day we get Catachan Devil models. I feel like we once did have something like this. It's basically just a giant centipede tyrannid thing. That might not be a tyrannid. Perilous wastes. The Catachan Devil uncurls as it senses the approach of an intruder. Death Worlds contain some of the worst horrors in the known universe, from flesh-eating radiation to toxic waste dumps to vast jungles full of man-eating plants. For one thing that they have in common is that they are extremely hostile to human life, and only the hardiest and luckiest are able to survive on them. Survival of the fittest. The Astra Militarum is always on the lookout for brave men and women to recruit to their ranks. And where better to turn than the colonies that survive amidst near impossible conditions? So the finest and most respected troops are drawn to the Emperor's service on these worlds. They are able to bring not only a survival mentality, but a concrete survival skills and frequent combat experience fights against a hostile flora and fauna of their worlds, practically since birth. With such robust upbringing, these elite troops can be deployed straight into some of the most unforgiving war zones in the galaxy. What I wish we had for Imperial Guardsmen is, instead of giving us like 3 different types of units, is that we instead just had like 1 type of infantry squad, or maybe 2 types of infantry squad. And you could just like give them an upgrade that determined what special rule they got. Like you could have a rule for basically just basic guardsmen. Or you could turn them into the equivalent of Kriegs, or the equivalent of Catachans, or the equivalent of like people who come from a hive world, or whatever. Because obviously, guardsmen coming from hive world gangs would be very suited to close quarter combat. Maybe they'll have the assault keyword on their weapons. Meanwhile, Death Worlders might be very hardy and have like feel no pain 6+, and maybe get lethal hits. Yeah, I think that's why what they did in 7th. Yeah, I feel like that's probably better than the 3 different types they've got now. In part because Catachans still just don't feel like Catachans to me. They should be hitting harder. They should be getting like 2 attacks each. Like, if they're not going to make them much more different, like let's look at the actual stats of them. There we go. Let me go over here. New recruit. New recruit. Astra Militarum. Entrenched. Do. Then this stuff. Next week. Oh. The shield captains get to for single release. So are the custodian guard. So are the sentinel guard. So are the infantry winged people. The custodian dreadnought. The graph carrier is getting a release. The graph tanks getting a release. The annihilation tanks getting a release. Ooh. Ooh. Sardu Layak. Horus Heresy. That's a cool dude. Is he getting... He already has a model out, I think. Oh, Briar raided. Hello, Briar. Hi, good mudbugs. Hello, Briar. Hello, everybody. Big love hearts. Big love hearts are down here. Big love hearts are down here. Distracted cat. Yeah. Hi, Paladin Stem. Hello, everybody. I'm Cupcake Conjurer in both name and profession. First name Cupcake, second name Conjurer. And I conjure cupcakes. Also, we're looking at Warhammer today. And hello, the Doc Hacker Keyblade Master. Hello. How are you all doing? I hope you had a fun time playing Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts, not Kingdom of Hearts. Kingdom Hearts. Hello. Hello, Briar. Yeah, look how cool this book looks. Limited edition version. Is that actual gold foil? Oh, it is gold foil. Oh, it's proper gold. Oh. Go check out my... Yes, I spent 3 hours on one... No, you're not allowed to spend 3 hours in one boss. You have to beat them in one go, Briar. You need to show you're good. You need to get good. Well, I hope you had a fun time. I'm going to be showing everyone the character. He's such a cool... This guy, he's such a cool model. So, this thing here is this dude. Look at this. Oh. Yeah, you can have this guy for the low price of 73 quid for 3 models. 2 of which kind of look meh. Oh. Yeah, here's his friends. And his other friend. Yeah. They're made out of resin. But anyway, have a good time. I hope you have a good time here. Remember everyone to go and give Briar a big old subscribe and stuff and see what she does, because she's cool. She's a super cool person and she makes great videos. And also, I hope that everyone coming in, including Briar, make sure you hydrate, make sure you eat, make sure you go and rest and stuff. Because you need to remember to take care of yourselves. You've had a long stream and it's late for you, Briar. Yuck. Oh. But yeah, look at all this cool stuff. Look at all this cool... I'm not planning to get any of it. And just because I'm not planning to get it doesn't mean I'm gonna... I need to strengthen my will. My will to not buy stuff. But oh yeah, Cadians. That's what I wanted to look at. I want to look at Cadians. I'm distracted. Not Cadians. Catechins. Yeah, each time this model makes a melee attack, if this unit charged or was charged, add 1 to the wound roll. Which is okay, but if you only get 1 attack each, of only strength 3, and they have no AP, I think they can... I don't even think they can get a power weapon or anything like that. Like, Catechin Jungle Fighters. Where are they? Yeah, they can't have, like, any... They don't even get chainswords or stuff like that. They can get flamethrowers, that's it. It sucks. I mean, Death Corps and Krieg are technically better at that type of stuff then. Because, where is it? Grim Demeanor. Yeah, each time a model makes their attack it's below starting strength, add 1 to the hit roll. And if they're below half strength, I'd want a wound roll. But they get power weapons. They're actually kind of decent. Oh, they get plasma guns. Oh, it sucks. Yeah, we're just complaining about how Cactogen needs a model refresh. But look at these guys. Look how dehydrated these men are. Yeah, generally when you see someone's muscles like this, they're generally quite dehydrated. And they're probably very, very hungry. Because usually what you got for bulking and then you got your cutting. So whenever they go into like these bodybuilding competitions, they have to bulk up. They get really, really fat on top of them. The more muscle you have, the more fat you need to protect your muscle. And to feed it. But what they do is they bulk up lots and lots of food, lots and lots of water to stay really nice hydrated. And then you do cutting, where you're still doing your working out, but you don't drink as much and you don't eat as much. And as a result, you lose all of your fat. Much of your muscle stays, you'll be in a lot of pain. And then on the day where you do, like, you know, do all the photo and shoots and stuff, and this is what they do in films too, you basically drink nothing. You usually have, like, not drunk anything in, like, 24 hours or something stupid. And it's incredibly painful and it's incredibly horrible. But yeah, it's very punishing doing stuff to look like that. So that's the toxic male beauty standards. Nope, just knives except for command squad. Yeah, the command squad can get pretty good upgrades. They do need a full refresh. And I hope when they do get a refresh, they bring back Strachan, because I absolutely adore Strachan. I just love the idea of just this one guardsman who's like, yeah, I'm a guardsman, I got a plasma pistol, I got a cool shotgun. I'm strong enough in melee to be able to just slot my way through Space Marines. And also I'm tough enough to survive Space Marines hitting me with everything we've got. It was my favourite thing whenever I played Guardsman to be like, hey, so do you know, you want to fight me? Hello, Tony, how you doing? Like, Sly looks good. Sly looks okay, I think he also needs an update. Rambo. But, yeah, the Cactogens suck. They need new models. Well, my boy, so for those who don't know, this is a story, Bonds of Honor Part 19. It's about some Space Marines who are genetically modified humans, and they're called the Silver Templars, these ones. And right now, it's a story being told to some neophytes, so some young kids who are going to become Space Marines. And it's about these Space Marines who have been through a lot of hectic battles, but right now they're fighting some evil, chaosy Space Marines who like skulls and you wielding axes that are also chainsaw axes. Yeah. And one of the characters just killed the mechanical beast mount of some really powerful World Eater dude. Or, yeah, they're called the World Eaters. Nah. Why is it pretty fresh model? Oh wait, one of your messages got hidden. Well, my boys, let us wait here for a while. Cold is fighting out here, and I can see you shivering. Oh yeah, he was just showing them the walls outside of a fortress, but the fortress is on a mountain that's like as high as Everest. Oh gosh. Well, you'll find an inner fire to keep you warm before too long, if it eases your mind. I too feel the cold after many long years of Empress service. Not as you do, of course, but I feel an ache here and there. A sting there as a chill tests my old wounds. The scar tissue tightens the metal implants conduct the frost to my very bones. But I do not mourn the body I once had. Every injury is a badge of honour, but I wear with pride. And though through battle, where my brothers fell around me, I carry a permanent reminder in my flesh. Now, come now, let us return to the tale I was telling you. It will not warm you, but perhaps you'll forget the code for a moment or two. You may remember that Brother Darian and Brother Hecarian were still behind waiting for the sergeant and Brother Mechatras. Waiting whether Sergeant and Brother Mechatras had left them. Sorry, my dyslexia just hit there. They were only too pleased to put their marksmanship to good use, and as the soldiers of Astra Militarum rushed forward, they tried to suppress as many of their enemy as they could. For Astra Militarum was on their side. They had just been fighting one another, but the Astra Militarum finally realised the space means are the good guys. They tried to suppress as many of their enemy as they could. Believe me, that was no small number. Meanwhile, Mechatras and Askerton had pushed forward, and at the front of the Astra Militarum forces, they had seen the oncoming army at their head. And at their head was a figure on a huge mechanical beast. While Mechatras brought the beast down, Askerton busied himself keeping back the attacking fiends so that his younger comrade could dispatch the leader. See, these are the evil people they're fighting. Yeah, I've actually got some of them. I've got some of their models. Let me show you. There we go. Here we go. So when we're talking about a mechanical beast, it's this kind of model. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah. And this type of space marine that's fighting him is this type, except he doesn't have a big old chainsword. Instead, this guy's not finished being painted. Instead, he has just a knife and a bolt gun. Yeah. But the beast is dead. Yeah, he's so cute. He's so good. No, he's evil and big and scary. Yeah. This was no small task, so they came in a wave after wave, a nearly endless procession of blooded barbarians. They were well armed and no doubt have been perfectly able to engage from a distance, but they seemed to like nothing better than getting closely involved, and many of them charged forward, forgoing the chance to shoot from a distance, or the opportunity to slash at the guardsmen with knives and chainswords. The fiendish barbarians of the World Eaters indulge in their lust for blood and death. Well, sounds of it sounds like most of the enemy aren't space marines, but instead they're just corrupted humans called jackals. The air was rent with the sound of screams, wails of pain and fear, the bellows of fury and bloodlust. Outside of the space marine's helmets, the air was miasmic and choked with smoke and dust. Around them pressed the shock troops of the Astra Militarum, struggling to breathe as they threw themselves at the enemy. Many men and women fell that day, but they made the foe pay for every loss inflicted on them. As their comrades fell, the fury of the Imperial survivors mounted until it matched the unhinged wrath of the World Eaters. The accursed enemy who turned their back on their father, the Emperor, and fell to worship of Khan. How desperate must they have been, those savages, how vain and selfish, we can never know. Nor can we tell if they regretted their bargain. Once they entered such a wicked path, they were truly damned. But having lost any chance of redemption, do they truly revel in their unholy crimes?
Astra Mila, what? You're in the garden now, son.
Yeah. Hi, Anthony. It's been a couple of days. How you doing? Yeah, for jackals of the carnate cult. For another type of carnate cultist called the Gormongers, which are my favourite type. It's actually my favourite World Eaters models. Planning to build these guys tomorrow. I've already built 8 of these dudes, and I plan to get 8 more after these. Yeah, plan to build them with the Rough Riders we've got today, which are not opened yet. Do they truly revel in their unholy crimes, or do they carry on only because they can do nothing else now? Their regret and resentment fueling their anger, and their cruelty as surely as their petty lust for power? It does not please me to think of such things. The only thing from which I can take pleasure is the sure knowledge that the brothers of Sergeant Askerton's. I have been weirdly sleepy the past few days, so I haven't joined. I was also sleepy today too. That's why I'm here now. Yeah, I need to sleep properly still. Under Brother Sergeant Askerton's command, committed many of them to the earth that day. But the greatest task fell to Mechatras. This just feels like Askerton was like, hey, you lost my gun. Now go and fight this blooming warlord of the world eaters. Yeah, sure, you might just be a generic intercessor, but you can take him on. That teaches you for losing my gun. I hope you feel better and you get some good sleeps, Anthony. Either way, he was eager to show his quality, and though he felled the great beast, its rider still lived. He was even more a brute than the mechanical creature he had been riding. And he charged straight for the brothers, ignoring the guardsmen all around. At first, perhaps he might have been charging Sergeant Askerton, recognizing a fellow leader, but as Askerton ignored him and continued to mow down his troops, Mechatras fired shot after shot into his chest, and the savage soon switched his attention to the younger brother. He fixed his gaze and ran at the younger brother, discharging blasts of thick plasma from his pistols as he charged. Then he approached with Mechatras' bolts still ringing off his armor. He discarded his sidearm and let go bodily at the Space Marine, clutching a huge axe in both hands. A huge axe in one hand? Why not a huge axe in either hand? And an axe as well on your... Sorry, I went to the store. What did I miss? Everything. The world's ended. I'm sorry to tell you. Ooh, I joined in of the Silver Templars as promised God Law, not space. We've been learning a lot about God Law today. And how, apparently, according to this... Look, do you want to see something hilarious? It's going over the different heroes of the Astra Militarum. Creed, Lesk, Gaunt, Knock Dead Dog, Severin Rain. And then it's like, the bell tolls. The dead are here, the honoured dead. Erska Creed. And the greatest of martyrs. The greatest martyr, it says. He's alive! Nothing great, Erland Space Marines. He's a blooming live! Wait, where are we? Yeah, Fan Blacklash was amazing for that. Yeah, but they never even gave him a proper death or anything. We're just like, we don't want to sell this model at the moment because it's old and it's metal. Where's this? When as he approached, Mechatras' bolts still ringing off his army, he discarded his sidearm and let bodily at the Space Marine, cutting a huge axe in both hands. As the fiend flung himself forward, laughing maniacally, Megatras could see that some of his shots had struck true. From a distance he had not seen the damage that he had done, but up close he could see that the red armour had hid the blood that seeped from a couple of dreadful wounds. Though such grievous injuries would have stopped most enemies, against such a foe they seemed to have little effect. It was almost as though he relished the destruction of his own flesh as much as that of foes he unalived. The brute landed, and at that moment he brought his axe down with terrific force, but Megatras shot him square in the chest, and the blow faltered, rebounding off the Space Marine's pauldrons. Even a glancing blow betrayed the power armour, the power of the strike, and Megatras steeled himself for the fight ahead, grateful to have avoided it. Before Megatras had time to think, the enemy was on him. The two fought in a flurry of blades as the Space Marine drew his knife. He moved in close in hope that he could deny his opponents the room to swing, but somehow the blows kept coming. Megatras stabbed and shot, seemingly to no avail, his arms tiring and his breathing becoming heavy, and the attacks seemed close to overwhelming him. Then out the corner of his eyes he saw his sergeant coming towards them, his rifle raised. He lowered it and sighted it at the enemy, no doubt fearing that Megatras as he struggled against such a mighty enemy. "No!" Megatras shouted, his heart burning with shame. This was his fight and he would win it. But it hurt him so deeply that Askerton would think him incapable and in need of rescue. With a terrific effort he pushed the fiend back and shot him again. Then, as the brute recoiled for a blow, Megatras threw himself into the enemy and took the fight to the ground. They writhed together for a moment until Megatras plunged his knife into the brute's neck. Megatras pushed the blade home as a few stifled, gurgling noises escaped the enemy's throat. Then finally he was silent. Megatras sprang up, elated, and turned to Askerton, his helmet hiding the pride in his eyes. Askerton began to shout a warning, but before he could finish, the dying foe landed one final blow on the young brother. Oh, I think that's an 8-pound, isn't it? Oh, Space Marine. They're definitely trying to make Commissar Graves the next Yavik. Even gave her the mini Fortress of Arrogance. The fan base didn't like this. Maybe. I don't know much about Graves. What's the Fortress of Arrogance in like the old books or something? Like in other books and lore? Like, I don't really know much about Graves at all, other than the new model that's coming out. Hi, Doodle. How you doing? I think the best word for unaliving is warhammering. Yeah! You warhammered him. But here we go, heavy weapon squads. Heavy weapon squads are made up of these aren't the same ones that they painted. Are made up of devastatingly powerful weapons that are just light enough for the skilled operators to move them around the battlefield. They're able to redeploy to face their latest threat and take up tactical positions to strike at the enemy wherever they are most vulnerable. The crew of this heavy weapon... just talk about what's the background is of the different squads you can have. The data sheet. While massed infantry can overwhelm the foe, it often falls to heavy weapon squads to deliver the killing blow. These teams of gun crews can swiftly set up their mobile heavy weapons. They bolster battle lines and provide close fire support and adaptable loadouts of precise or indiscriminate firepower. Yeah! They're pretty good. They're good at providing overwatch to their allies. They can have autocannons or heavy bolters or las cannons or mortars or missile launchers. They're pretty great. Fortress of Arrogance was Yarrick's... Yeah, Fortress of Arrogance was Yarrick's personal Baneblade. I believe... I can't remember if they actually sold a conversion upgrade for kit or if they just taught... Like, you could easily make the conversion that they did from the old buildings kit And I think I even made my own version of a Fortress of Arrogance. And he got run over by one. If the Fortress for Arrogance was Yark's personal Baneblade, that he got run over by once. Oh no, Baneblades are massive tanks. Like, if this is the size of a normal modern tank, if this is the size of a Warhammer tank, then Baneblades are like this big. In fact, I've got a Baneblade. Let me just show. Is that Baneblade? Let me just. Alright, here we go. This is roughly the same size as a Baneblade. Yeah, this is called a Fell Blade though. Very similar size, very similar design. Look at all those peyote seals. Chains. Chains. Hi, Cupcom, doing good now. Situation's finally under control. Nice! Glad things are going better for you. But where you go? Scenario 47, Covering Fire. Arogal Dawn, Lord Solar, Orcs, Las Cannons, Heavy Bolters, Auto Cannons, Missile Launcher, Commissar. Under the covering fire of the heavy weaponry squads, the troops of the Astra Militarum flood forward. They target Orc territory. If they can gain a foothold behind Orc lines, they will be able to lay charges to churn up the ground and obstruct Orc reinforcements. But they must act quickly, or more Orcs will arrive and the Imperial troops will be forced back. Ooh, so this is how to do that. How you set up. Oh, it teaches you how to do Overwatch. Oh. Jackals. Oh, next time we've got to get a Sentinel. I've not had one of the new Sentinels. But we got the final of our Gene Stealers. And we'll build these guys tomorrow. The Atlan Jackals, I think they're called. What size base is this? 60mm? Yeah, 60mm. Little bikes. Unfortunately, it's a bit dark because the camera brightness is a bit meh. Yeah, it looks interesting. We'll put this over to here because I want to build it tomorrow along with those Gormongers we showed before. And oh, Grand Theft Denim. Yeah. Hi Kill, how you doing? I am here and awake. Yeah. Am I crazy for not liking the new basic model? Which model for Yarrick? Of the new Sentinel? Commissar model? Oh, the new Commissar. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the I think it's okay. I just don't like how there's barely any options for him. Like, he should have an option for a power fist. He should have the Commissar bolt pistol should do way more in terms of stats. The basic Commissar is... Oh, wrong one. Imperium, Astra Militarum. Where is it? It's kind of boring. It's back when we were doing lots more monopose models. Cheaper models, but for very monopose. With very few options. And it's kind of boring. Slime Marble. I mean, he's fine. That's pretty much all I have to say about him. Also, Commissar bolt pistols should be way more powerful in the game. Like, all he's got is chain sword, power sword, one stance, Wait, does he not have a plasma pistol? I thought for some reason he could have plasma pistols. Does he literally just have a bolt pistol? IS for old one. Yeah, some of the old Commissar models are good, but I don't think any of them are plastic. Let me check. Let me check. Commissar. If we take a Commissar, it's only 30 points. Yeah, you can give him a plasma pistol.
How do you stop the Astartes? Small, short, narrow corridors.
It depends, honestly. I've seen more than one story where, do you know, a Astarte or Custodi were in a corridor that was too small for them. So they just walked through the corridor anyway and destroyed the corridor. Or they just like threw melter bombs into it. They just don't show it. No, I mean, it's got a bolt pistol here. Oh, the old one had a plasma pistol. Okay. I know you can still get Commissars with plasma pistols, like through the Krieg set. I mean, you could always just paint this guy as a Commissar, to be entirely honest. Like, the difference between this model and this model is mostly just colour scheme. I think that's the Commissar Aquila, but honestly, I don't think anyone's going to care. But yeah, this model's way better because look at the amount of options it has. Like power sword, chain sword, and it's not just like a sword that's going up and every single weapon is in the same position. Every single arm, like your different arm options are in different positions. That's good. This makes it a good model. It's easy to kit bash with it. Like, look at this. This is a good model. Different head options. That's what the Commissar model should be. Love the Krieg Commissar from the Command Squad. I love the Hell's Last Commissar. So I could show you this. I'll show you afterwards. But if we look at the Command Squad Commissar for the Krieg, there's actually technically 2 Commissars there. Which is why the Command Squad's in 6. You got the Lord Commissar, and then you got basically a Commissar in training. Where is it? Is it down below? Must be down below. Oh yeah, he is a massive Baneblade. Oh yeah, they brought back the Marauders. The Marauder Bomber. And... oh, this one's already out of stock again. Oh gosh. I did not expect the Marauder Destroyer to be out of stock so soon after coming back into stock. Here we go. Yeah, there's 2 Commissars here. This one and this one. Both of them are cool. This is a Lord Commissar, I believe. He's got a whip. Oh my gosh, from this angle, it looks like the whip is just a belt. Oh no, if a Lord Commissar takes his belt off because you tried sacrificing yourself. Destroying purchase expectation. Yeah. Maybe if they only made like 6 of them. Where's the other Commissar? Is it this dude? Yeah, this is the other Commissar. You can see he's got the Commissar Eagle here. And I think at least one of them can have a power fist. Yeah, there he is. He can have a power fist, plasma gun, flamethrower. Yeah. Commissar model currently. I mean, the model itself is fine. It's like a lot of models. The model, if you just want one of them and you don't care about it looking unique, it's fine. Like, here's my Captain in Phobos armor. Really annoying model if you want to kit bash this or do you try making it unique. There's only one way to build it, and it's this way. Although I cut off a hand, I replaced it with a hand from the Black Templar upgrade sprue. And I replaced the head with a Reaver Captain head. And there's his helmet. Yeah, well, the entire model is just terrible to try changing much about it because of the way it's designed. Really cool model just as a one-off, but... Oh yeah, and here we go. Here is another commissar that's really cool.
Is it really unique if at least a couple people have done it?
It's really unique if at least a couple of people have done it. Yeah. I mean, I've tried to make this as unique as I can, but it's very hard to make it unique without doing some massive changes that I just can't be bothered doing. So instead I just try giving it my own a bit of a personal touch. But yeah, it's a lot harder to give these kind of very monopose models where each and every single bit, like this model, it's part of the shoulder pad on this arm is attached to the body part. The part of the legs are attached to both the front body part and the back body part. So that means you can't really reposition the legs, you can't really change anything. The cloak is separate except this part of the cloak which is attached to this. Half of the helmet is attached to this, the other half is attached to this. So it just means that you got all these different bits that are all intrinsically linked to one another. It's like this shoulder pad is fully part of the main body and is deformed for this cloak to go over. And the arm then just fits snugly under there. Oh, just use the 10-man full push units to kit bash my caps into Phobos armor. Yeah. Yeah, that's usually the kind of thing to do. That's what I did a lot when I was growing up for pretty much all of my characters. But I do really like the captain model. And, you know, Ackerman from Space Marine 2 is based on the standard captain model. Down to the same coloration. So... I wanted to get that and then just give it my own little thing. Like these models here, these guys are horrible to try kit bashing, but it's fine because honestly, they're meant to be named characters, where this guy's just meant to be generic.
New Crystal Dace models have this intrinsic linking thing apparently. Really sucks when you have so few models that they repeat.
Yeah. We're going to get them tomorrow. That being said, you don't need many models to make a large Custodes army. But not tomorrow. We're going to hopefully get the Custodes delivered above the stream on Tuesday. If you actually want to go, if we go over here. Protect the screen! Smash! Image 6. It's this one. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. It's a schedule. Yeah, on 11 CST. Tuesday. Oh, I might have to change that to an afternoon stream because I don't know if they're going to arrive in time. Hopefully they do. If they don't, we'll do a long painting session shot. But Custodes stream might be changed to a painting stream. A painting stream might be a Custodes stream. I don't know. Oh gosh. Yeah. Back to Handcam. Smish. Can I green stuff for fabric? You can try. I'm not very good at green stuffing fabric. I always mess it up. I'm not patient enough for it. Ah yes, my 2 Guardian units that look exactly the same. I'm slowly green stuffing. I just bought them 3D printed. Cool transition. Thank you. But here we go. What's here? How to build your Atlan Jackals. Pretty cool models. Look, it's a quad bike. A quad bike! Like, provoke the sword and then how to paint your models. Okay, how do they do the skin? Wraithbone. Now, they clearly got to do paler skin, so I want to see how they do this. Like, what wash do they put on the skin? Oh, they put Carringberg Crimson on it to get that purpley colour, apparently. And then pallid rich flesh over. Okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense to make the Gene Stealer coat flesh. Interesting. How do we do that grey? Because that's a very unique grey. So the base grey is just Administratum grey. And then, is it just known oil over Administratum grey? Oh, with Corvix White highlighting, maybe? Yeah, Corvix White highlighting on it. Mechanica Standard grey for the goggles. Oh, we missed a page. Oh yeah, it's just known oil. Just known oil over me Administratum grey. Interesting. Interesting. Some Corvix White. Okay. And for blue they used where's the blue? Oh, they don't use blue. They use green shade over Mechanica Standard for the blue for that stuff. Ah. Not sure how I feel about that. And Corvix White over it again for highlighting. Do you have any good replacements of green stuff since the factory was closed? Oh wait, green stuff's factory was closed. Like Green Stuff World. Well, for replacements, you got various modern putties. A lot of people like Milliput, which is I can show you. I've only used it once before, and I need to try using it again. Wasn't a big fan of it. I much prefer the stiffness. So it's this thing, 2-part epoxy Milliput. Such a gangly commissar. That's what a lot of people use. Oops. Oh no. Oh no. Stuff went everywhere. Paints everywhere. Oh no, I dropped it. The box. The box. Oh no! You might have heard all of that noise then. Yeah, this goes here, this goes here, please. Right, make sure none of them are spilt. Make sure none of them are spilt. My powdered snow. Oh! Oh! There we go. Okay, is that all of the paint that went everywhere? And this thing, well, okay, where's my knife blades gone? They also fell down here. They fell somewhere, I know that much. Ow! I found this burgundy colour. I have no idea what I'm going to do with. Oh, that's more grass tufts. Let's make sure they're in a good place. That's another. Oh gosh, that one almost opened. That's another paint that goes to one side, and okay, I know my blades fell out of a packet. Where did they go? For my crafting knife. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to find them later. Oh no. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up about the factory. Yeah, all made in one factory in America. It's originally a plumbing sealant. The parent company shut it recently. Oh no. That's not good. We could try different like polymer clays and stuff as well. And 2-part epoxies. Huh. Oop, another paint is over here. There we go.
Throw money at Cupcon, feeding her plastic crack addiction, while we feed our plastic crack addiction. Sounds like heaven.
Yuck! Can't wait to get an affiliate link. An affiliate link. An affiliate! I wish I had an affiliate link. I wonder if I can get an affiliate link for Warhammer. Does Warhammer do affiliate links? Pfft. If they do, I'll have to contact them. I'll have to like contact a shop. I'll have to contact multiple shops. At least in America and UK and Europe. Green stuff. Factory closed. Ah. Yeah. Interesting. Well, there's still be plenty of stuff to buy for now. It sounds like there's going to be a European version going to be produced soon. So, there's that. Do they even do employee discount? Oh, Warhammer does employee discounts. Of course they do. They love it. Outland Jackals are the scouts and wayfinders of the Genestealer cults. They roam the desolate waste of their cult's planet, searching for new areas that they can be infested. What happens if a Genestealer cult doesn't come from a desolate, wasted planet? In battle, they put their skills to good use, searching out for weaknesses in enemy lines and moving in rapidly to mount deadly assaults. By the way, for all worlds of the Imperium that are better than like Earth today, and they're called pleasure planets, or they're often referred to as pleasure planets. This doesn't necessarily mean, you know, they're used as a pleasure planet. In fact, one of them has been described as an agri-world, but generally these types of worlds generally have it living on them is quite good. You have a good life until war comes, and even then when war comes you might still have a good life. Hi Dr. Smilex! To be honest, I'm not very much into physical hobbies, but I have opinion on James Workshop lol. Yeah, no. Element of Firestorm Games do it. I know Element Games does actually, yeah. I could try contacting them, I guess. Because I like Element Games. They're not the best always a price, so for sometimes they are. And because sometimes, especially like Rayland or something, you might find that like a box that they think is going to sell super well, they don't put a discount on it. Or a steeper discount. And as a result, sometimes Element Games is cheaper. But often Element Games is like a 17% discount compared to other places that's a 20% discount. But yeah, but when it comes to like customer service, having stock and stuff like that, they're pretty good. They generally don't go out to stock as quickly as others as well. The two though that I've been using the most recently are three actually: Goblin Gaming, Wayland, and Hobby Workshop. They're pretty good. Also, there's a place called Jedi Archives. It's mostly just Star Wars stuff, but sometimes you can get really good Warhammer prices there. Well, Combat Patrol data sheets. Pretty cool Combat Patrol. They have a mining laser. Absolutely insane damage output. Atlan small arms. They're kind of terrible in melee. I think this is a bit wrong here. That mean your close combat. You forgot to turn the power weapon on. Close combat weapon 2 attacks. Power weapon 2 attacks. Both hit on 4s. Both are strength 3. Both have 0 AP. Both do 1. I think I forgot. I can show you what the stats meant to be on them. Give me a moment. I forgot to turn the power weapon on. I'm not a cat. Genestealer coat. Here we go. Genestealer coat. Click nice stuff. Yeah, nice stuff. And then we go down to Atlan Jackals. Wait, do I have the? No, I don't. Here we go. Interesting. They have stealth. I never realised that before. The bikes have stealth. What other units have stealth? You're trying. Do these guys have stealth?
The Star Wars place, selling Warhammer. If they sold Anakin, how many times do you think they said these are not the droids you're looking for?
Element games are quite good for modelling materials. Yeah, I also find... Oh, one of the things I like buying is paints and spray cans from Wayland Games. Not Wayland, Element Games, sorry. Often because decent price, but also they generally sell and deliver them a lot better than other places do. Because I find going to certain places, as soon as you put a spray can in your basket, suddenly it's like 20 quid for delivery. Yeah, so they don't have stealth. Do other units have stealth? Hybrid metamorphs. They don't have stealth. Aberrants, they don't have stealth. Yeah, but okay, the guys who are running around on bikes and quad bikes, apparently they're very hard to see. The guys crawling around in the dirt, the alien that's, you know, modified to infiltrate and have chameleon skin, they don't have stealth. They're quite easy to see. But for the guys on bikes, oh my gosh, who can see? Maybe it's just the dust cloud. You're constantly just firing into this dust cloud around them that it just obscures them. I got hit with a buffering ring for that worth. Oh no. A Star Wars place selling Warhammer. If they sold Ironkin. I don't think they actually sell Ironkin. They sell a bunch of stuff. But obviously Star Wars stuff is the main thing that they sell. To be fair, chameleons suck at stealth. Maybe. Okay, Atlan Jackals share a mental link that allows them to coordinate in hunting packs and ride in tight formations at high speed with no risk of mishap. They harass the foe with hit-and-run strikes, their wolf quads unleashing heavy firepower to augment the guns and bludgeons of their packmasters. I feel like the more I read about Genestealer cults, the more I realise that they're very much a... What would be the word? Death by 1,000 cuts. Just every single unit has the ability to do a decent amount of damage, but very few of the units are, you know, just by themselves going to take out other units easily. Other than, like, weak units. But every single one of them is capable of just doing little bits of bit damage to much stronger units. And it all adds up very quickly when you've got all of them. And they keep coming back. Ever seen a chameleon? I see photos of them all the time. I keep getting shown photos of chameleons, but I never see the chameleons. I'm joking. I mean, I see Genestealers all of the time, everywhere. Like, everyone loves gene stealers. Atlan jackals. Actually, no, people love Atlan jackals. It's like whenever someone brings gene stealer cults, these guys are the guys who bring. Operatives of a gene stealer cults throw off their disguises and rise up against the Imperium. A small Astra Militarum patrol is cut off by the gene stealer raiding party. Coordinating with other patrols, they realise they have a chance to shell the gene stealer's headquarters, but first they must weather this attack and keep their artillery in service. Oh, so it's bikes versus artillery in this thing. Ooh, Astra Militarum deployment zone. Gene stealers on either side. Then choose your terrain. Okay, that's cool. We shall never stop until the faithful have spread across the surface of this planet. Then the oppressor shall see the truth of our conviction. And that is just the start. Brothers and sisters, for how much greater shall be our victory when our gods return. Never will the galaxy have seen such glory. But it starts this day with us. Arise and follow me to glory. Oh no. Oh no. Those are big greenish crystals boring melee weapons? Yeah. Don't gene stealer cults have big hulking guys? They're not that big. The aberrants are tiny. I would show you a picture of an aberrant. But an aberrant is smaller than a space marine. An ogren is like this big. Now, maybe not that big, about this big. Aberrant is about this big. Aberrant is on the same base size as... I'll show you the website. The website, our favourite place to go. Boring of a sense of tunneling. Yeah! So here we go. 40k. Xenos armies, gene stealer cults. Here we go. Aberrants. So these guys look really big and scary until you realise that they're on the same base size as a Space Marine, which is just 32mm. So yeah, they're about the same size as a Space Marine, a little bit smaller if I'm entirely honest. If you compare this to Ogrens, I don't have an Ogren, unfortunately. Astra Militarum. Here we go, Ogrens. They are on 40mm bases, so much bigger bases. And you can see they also fill their bases much better. These are like Terminator sized. Considering the Aberrant was once a person, I guess that extends to Space Marines. Yeah. The thing is though, I can still imagine Aberrants making giant Ogren sized. From the lore, you'd expect Aberrants to be like Ogren size. And from the rules, you'd expect them to be almost Ogren size. Well, then they're not. Also, they were around for back when they were when there was first spawn Marines. Don't forget, Ogrens were also from the time of the spawn Marines. I'm pretty sure these Ogrens are just as old, if not older. Can we see a date on these guys? And you can see there's quite a lot of empty space on these spoos. 2013. They are older than the Aberrant models. And they're absolutely massive. So yeah. It just feels weird. I mean, I think that because the gene stealer cults feel more like they're meant to be like Photon in a way. They definitely seem to be... They mirror Photon in a lot. Both of them are focused on mining. Both of them were once human, in a way. Are kind of related to human, but considered Xenos. And both of them have very similar units. Where you got the Pioneers over here. But it's like, if you compare the Aberrants to the Siphonian Berserkers, they're actually like Very similar. It's very similar stats. Very similar role in the game. And they are similar in size. The Siphonian Berserkers are smaller than the
Cause I'm
Paladin.
just a teenage ogrin, baby.
Yick. Teenager Ogrins. Which was a game where we play as someone in a hive world full of gene stealers? Do you mean Dark Tide? Wait, no, Dark Tide. Does Dark Tide have gene stealers in it? Or is that Chaos? I think Dark Tide is Chaos. You can actually play a game like that. If you don't mean computer game, you can play Necromunda. There's a Bard game, which is like, that's one of the things you can do. Dodge. Bye, Dr. Smack. Dodge that one. Dark Tide is Chaos. It is Chaos. But yeah, Necromunda has, if we filter this down. I don't know if any Necromunda... Ow! If you ain't dropping your whole tax return on minis, are you even doing it right? Hi, the biggest tasty... No, you have to... As soon as you get your wage in, all goes to minis. And then you look at your bank account when rent comes in and goes, oh no, forgot about rent. Oh no, I forgot about food. I don't need food, all I need is cola.
You missed half the joke and we ain't interested in Necromunda.
Wait, did I miss half a go? Actually, you have that hired gun. The problem is the game only features for interesting enemies, gene stealers. Instead of the 30 flavors of generic ganga. Hired gun. I need to play hired gun. But yeah, do you want to see the cool gene stealers? I want to show you the cool gene stealers. Look at the cool gene stealers. Look at these guys. Oh. Don't look at the bank account. Biggest mistake in this hobby is knowing how much you spent. It's true. It's true. Oh. Gotta love these minis. Look at all this resin. Look at those resin minis. Breathing the resin fumes. I wonder if Alien Isolation can be modded to replace the Xenomorphs with Gene Stealers. You can play the, what's it called, Space Hulk. You fight Tyranids and Gene Stealers and stuff. But you play as a Space Marine, which is boring. Or Terminator even. $30 flavors of generic ganga. I never knew in hired gun you fought Gene Stealers. I'm gonna have to check Steam now. I've got a hired gun, I've just not played it yet. We played for other Necromunda game. Oh my gosh, who the hell is Fan Calots? Because after playing Rogue Trader game, I got like 5 of those trading cards on Steam that are just for this guy called Fan Calots. Necromunda, Warhammer 40k, Necromunda, do. Okay, where is it? Where?
She says it's true knowing full well she writes all the plastic rack off as a business expense.
Yeah, I don't need to do business expenses because I don't earn enough on Warhammer to do tax returns. Oh yeah, I played Under Hive Wars, didn't I? Hired gun star page. Oh. How much is he worth? Alien Isolation with lictors would be rad. It would be rad. I wish we had more 40k games that just focus on normal humans like guardsmen and stuff. Like imagine like a Battlefield style game. Oh, but you play as like a generic guardsman amongst like a squad of guardsmen, and each time you die, you just take over another guardsman. And then when the entire squad gets wiped out, you play as another guardsman. And if you don't die in a battle, you get like rank ups and stuff. Or you get more bonuses, and you actually like get characters of higher rank. And the longer you keep them alive, the better, like, higher rank they become. But they don't become any better. Like, you don't become tougher. You just get better equipment. By the way, Conjure a House Flipper is free on stream. I don't want to flip houses. Imagine all the poor people inside the house. They're just, like, living in the house, and then suddenly someone just flips it. And they're all upside down now. That doesn't sound fun. I mean, mate, it was a little bit funny. It's a little bit funny. But next time we'll be getting a sentinel. I'll be learning more about guardsmen, and then soon we'll be moving on to the corn dudes. The Battlefield ranking system would make sense of this kind of game because I believe there are 200 ranks between recruit to private. Oh no. But yeah, we need more games on just your generic people. I want to play as a guardsman with just a last gun, and I have to fight the Carnifex that just regenerates every time you shoot it. And then you will have to run away. And then there's a commissar trying to shoot your head off. The question is, do you have enemies controlled by AI, or do you have different factions? Should be Guardsman versus Traitor Guard. Honestly, Traitor Guard are great. I really, really want them to bring out the Lost and the Damned. I was hoping beyond hope. But do you know one of these new campaigns we're doing would be Traitor Guardsman? Would bring back the Lost and the Damned, which is basically just Traitor Guardsman. Because that's all you see. In almost every single book, most of the heretics are Traitor Guard and cultists. And we just don't have enough of them in the actual board game. By the way, I built this guy last night. There we go. Look at this. We got flamethrowers. Yeah, blood pact when. Blood pact when. Yeah. I mean, you can kind of build a blood pact a little bit, but you can't make like your tanks. Karate chop action. Oh, his arm comes off. And also, look at this. Look at this. It opens up. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's a WW2 game like that called Hell Let Loose. And another set in Vietnam, so a 40k version would work. It would. Surprised I was in a Chaos Space Marine Soup Detachment that has an Imperial Guard. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. With doing like any of these. Like, especially when they announced for Eye of Terror stuff, was kind of just hoping it would give us that. But maybe they've got like, that's got to be the next Space Marine Codex or Space Marine Range refresh. It will bring back new Space Marine bikes, but also like Space Marine Chaos upgrade sprues for Guardsman vehicles. Look at that cool dude. Oh yeah, I also built this guy yesterday. Yeah. Of a stealthy squad. Yeah, this guy's got to definitely be super stealthy. You can imagine him walking stealthily, just tiptoeing through a city, can't you? Like this guy who is like 9 foot tall. 8 to 9 foot tall. This thing that's like, what, 20 foot tall? Size of a small house, just sneaking around for your city, just going do, 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 do. Flamethrower machine guns. Get to every bolter. And then sneaky, 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 sneaky kiss. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Flavor! Did you see they had an episode of Law and Order Special Victim Unit featuring a Vtuber? They had a whole model made and rigged just for the episode. Oh my goodness. I did not know that. I hope they didn't just like completely mess up Vtuber culture though. It'd have been cool if they brought on like a Vtuber, but I could also imagine why a Vtuber wouldn't want their character associated with that. Especially in this climate. Yeah, I didn't watch the episode yet. Oh, Imperial Guard plus Dark Packs. Honestly, Imperial Guardsmen plus Dark Packs would be absolutely terrifying. Like, could you imagine a Punisher tank just going, hey, I'm getting sustained... Wait, Punisher tanks can already get sustained hits, can't they? Imagine a Punisher tank with sustained lethals. I'm just going to shoot 20 attacks, every roll of a 6. Oh, Mark of Slanesh. Could you imagine if you could just put a Mark of Nurgle on it or something? No, it wouldn't be Nurgle. It would be a Mark of Sinch. 20 attacks, critting on 5s. Sustained lethals. That means every roll of a 5 or a 6 would automatically wound and generate another hit. Oh, that would hurt. But people loved it. Nice, that's good. That's good. You do sometimes get things trying to like explore Vtuber culture and they just completely... It's terrible. That much Stacker has given me to Gambit. No, don't Gambit! No! Tangle. Bill. Cypher. We have a whole model for the episode. Yeah. Like made specifically for it. Yeah, I understand. Sounds pretty fun. I mean, that's not really going to be... Unless they're trying to make like an Iron Mouse worthy model, it's probably not going to be a massive expense. All they have to do is find a decently priced artist, a decently priced rigger. That's not going to be hard to find. All they're going to have to do is like click one Vtuber, click find out about Vgen, search Vgen, talk to them, say that, hey, we're a company. The artist will probably charge them double for being a company because that's how art works and freelancing works. And they probably wouldn't hire them through Vgen, they'll probably just hire them like normally through proper freelancing stuff. But either way, it's probably not going to be a huge expense of them. Especially just compared to the normal price of sets and actors and stuff like that. Like throwing around 30 grand is pretty meh for them. Surprised she didn't go off on the housing market tangent. She spent all that time thinking on how to phrase the most offensive sentence she can without even seeing the model. No, but that's the thing, is like making a Vtuber model is generally not super expensive unless you're making something like Iron Mouse or HoloLive level. And even then, half the time they're so expensive is... Half of it is like for artists for hiring. And also trying to basically make sure that they've got the lists open and stuff. There's a person with 5 models. Yeah, but my models aren't that expensive. My models are very, very cheap as far as Vtuber models go. I mean, they're very high quality, like Foggy and
Vtuber's
Nico.
models are free. I just go to the park and take them home. I currently have 10 models.
Yay! Kit Kats are also free. You just go onto the motorway and find a Kit Kat truck and just take it. You just take the truck. I have 12 tons of Kit Kat. I have 4 tons of Kit Kat left. Yeah. 10 in the basement. 10 in the basement. Yeah, my models, especially for how high quality they are, they're quite cheap. But that's generally how most art goes. If you're not buying someone who's super, super well known and sought after, then the prices are going to be cheaper. So, like, I found Nico when he was, you know, still relatively small artist. And Foggy as well. For a second, I heard kitty cats and I was confused on why people have trucks of them transporting kitty cats. Yeah! Adorable. Nico getting crucified here. No, Nico is an amazing artist. No, I mean, look at the art he did for me. He's amazing. He's amazing. He could probably charge like 2,000-3,000 quid per art piece. I imagine one day he might actually be able to do that. We gotta go to like the sausage factory. Yeah. A second I heard kitty cats are not going to the No, we're not going to the sausage factory. No, Kit Kats for chocolate bars with a biscuit inside. Not kitty cats for adorable little cuddly things. If there's a truck full of kitty cats, then it's just going to the petting factory where it gets pet. Yeah, and then you give them big huddles and all of the good stuff.
He could charge 2,000 or 3,000 schmeckles per piece. Just as long as he's not charging me that much, he can anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that just makes it sound like he's in my basement. I'm like controlling where he can charge people. And that's actually one of the ways that also sometimes artists become very expensive, because they effectively become like, you'll see some top artists and one of the things you see is that they're never open, like to do art for. And this is basically because they are basically on retainers to somebody else or to a small group of people. They sign Vtuber agencies will often have like artists and editors on retainer. This costs them a hell of a lot more per piece of work, especially if they're just hiring them on a freelance basis. Well, it basically just means that, hey, if we need work, you're going to be here to do it. And that's like, can take an artist that would normally charge like £1,000 would suddenly now be charging like 10,000 to do something like that. But yeah. But generally, as an artist becomes more in demand, and generally it's less to do with the quality and more to do with the popularity of them. But as they become more in demand, they have to ultimately charge more because they effectively need to cut down for demand because they're never going to meet the demand. And charging more cuts down the demand. And the more they can charge, and if they still get that demand, then they'll keep charging that much. Yeah. Well, that's also why it pays to also look around and just constantly be searching out for, you know, artists that are very highly talented, but not yet that well known. Yeah. Because that way you can get some amazing art from them for prices that are, you know, decent. The petting factory changed its name to the hydraulic press factory. No, not the hydraulic press factory. You must be this rich to hire me. It's not that I don't want to do work. It's that I have too much work. I mean, honestly, that's often how these demand things do work. It's one of the other ways, like a lot of companies, and they start becoming more popular, what you find is that they can't meet demand anymore. And they can't cover the expenses of opening a new factory. And even if they can, they will often, it will cost them a hell of a lot of money and a hell of a lot of time. So even if they think the investment is worthwhile and the demand will continue into the future, it would take them a year, 2, 3 years to actually get the factory up and running and producing enough material. So while they can't meet demand, they ultimately have to inflate prices to effectively prevent stockpiles, scalping, and all sorts of other issues, and make sure that those who effectively need it most, or who can afford to pay for most, will still get their products. It's a very weird way of doing things. You've also get the entire thing off even reducing it to like, yes, this is limited to once per person, would still generally end up seeing prices increases because of it. And then partly they'll just increase the prices because now they know they can increase prices and people still buy it. And you see a lot of companies do this. Warhammer does this with Warhammer 40k, especially Space Marines. You'll find that certain factions and certain models are like really, really expensive compared to other factions and other models or other sets. And it's just generally for ones that offer more demand, they can afford to sell at a higher price. Nothing wrong here, just some cats. I believe Kundra would love mutagenics, but there would be problems. There would be problems. Mutagenics, I'm kind of scared of playing because I don't want to see the kitty cats get hurt. I don't want to see the cute animals getting hurt. I mean, Pokemon's fine. Pal World becomes scary because the animals can die. What about the rats? Punch the rats, punch the rat. I'm joking. I don't. Look, I had a chocolate hippo thing and I felt really, really sad about eating it. In fact, my little chocolate things here, I feel really awful about as well. It's like, no, I don't want to eat them, but they're cute. How does Power World become scared? Because the cute animals get hurt. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them get hurt. You should look into Vtopia. I just realised this guy is leaning back. It's like, hey, I'm just leaning back. I'm a relaxed fella. Do 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 do. I'm a relaxed fella. Do 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 do. Da na 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 na. Remember when you built that house for a whole stream? Then some exploding kamikaze birds blew it at you. Oh no! No, my house. Yeah, there's actually a video on the channel of that, I believe. Oh, Petridge Farm remembers. Yeah, if you look through my old videos, you'll find 2 on Palworld, and one of them has my house being exploded. We built it, and then some birds came in, and they blew it up, and it was depressing. No. No. That's back when I had my old model. Petridge Farm, Talan remembers. Talan's got you. But anyway, tomorrow we'll be building these guys and some Gormungus. We love our Gormungus. We love our Atlan Jackals. So tomorrow's a very cultisty day. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just thought the greatest animation ever. One of these guys, you got like, oh, you know where it's like you talk about these guys, you know, how the hell can these guys do stealth? One of these things is running through the batch view, and then suddenly, like from behind a tree or a building, Fish just moves out, picks him up from his mount, and then just smashes him into the ground. And then like a missile just flies out, goes around, and then lands of a mount as it's trying to skid along. Like it's trying to skid along, it goes turning around to charge, missile goes smashes its head to pieces, which because it's a machine you can show that. That would be the coolest. See what's empowered. This is why you need to invest in. No, they were exploding dodos. They ran along the ground. They didn't fly at us. Oh, and you could imagine like it suddenly like materializes into existence because it was all camoed up. Oh, that would be cool. It's a demon with armor on. No, it's actually a demon engine. It's not a demon with armor on. if you actually look interface, we saw it. You can see it's got pistons, and you can see all the pistons and gears and cogs inside. It's a machine that's been possessed by a demon. It's not a demon with armor on. It's a machine that's been possessed by a demon. That's what a demon engine is. The demon might have flesh. But, eventually the machine might grow flesh and stuff like that. But it starts as a machine and the demon possesses it. Warhammer 3 says otherwise, and I trust Warhammer 3 more than you. Warhammer 3 Juggernauts are not 40k Juggernauts. They're two different universes nowadays. Until Games Workshop decides once again they share the same universe. But even if you can see flesh on Juggernauts, it's because it would have started like this and then have gained flesh and bone after possessing the demon engine. That's how demon engines work. You mean good in universe and a gameless, homeless job universe? Yeah. Jobless universe. Aegis Sigmar is getting end-timed. Don't forget 40k did get end-timed as well. Except 40k got to live through that end time. I'd imagine Age of Sigmar. Well, Age of Sigmar is still popular. It's just War is not very popular at the moment, so they need to increase the popularity of it. Yeah. Well, Eddie, thank you for coming to the stream today. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I need to make some thumbnails and upload and get scheduled for streams and stuff. But as I said, as I've shown, here... Where's the schedule? Where's the schedule? Here's a schedule. We're going to be hopefully building custodies on Tuesday, although if my custodies don't arrive in time, it might be relegated to a Wednesday stream. And we got painting, and we got Total War, and we got Rogue Trade. I'm not doing a long Rogue Trader stream, or if I do, it'll just be like 10 or something in the afternoon. Because, oh my gosh, last time we went way too long. Well, thank you for coming to the stream. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Remember to work hard, but play harder. Take care of yourself, be kind to others and vice versa. And also. Oh, that's the wrong one. Love hearts. I wanted to show love hearts to you. Love hearts. Yeah, unfortunately, the camera's quite dark at the moment. It's going a bit dark outside. And so, work hard. No, what's the usually say? Oh yeah, eat good food. Sleep well, dream of cupcakes, but don't eat the cupcakes. The food's not food. Bye-bye, everyone. Smash! Love you all. And don't forget to like the stream. Please.